welcome. Hello,
Hey,
MP.
everybody. Happy Tuesday.
Oh God, my week has been
Oh,
hell already. Jesus Christ. Hello,
girl,
pastry
I
buff.
had a mental breakdown on Monday.
Oh my God.
Like, I was sobbing in the car just
October
every
did not
time.
start off on the right foot at the moment, and that is why you are looking at this screen.
Should we?
Ooh. Oh.
Before we dive in?
Should we what before we dive in?
Event sesh.
Okay,
Event
you
sesh.
start. You start. Hello,
Oof,
pastry buff.
Okay. Well,
I mean, mine is short, so I could go first if you want.
Let me tell you guys, the schedules are scheduling. I think everyone saw my post in the Discord. All my time has been filled up. It is a lot. And let me tell you guys, grad school is such a sanitized version of the real world.
Oh, yeah, man.
They give you clinic and stuff, and they're like, this'll prepare you, this'll prepare you. No, it does not. No, it does not. Because I cannot guarantee this. I cannot say for sure. But I'm pretty sure that they can, kind of filter out who you see. They can double check who's seeing who, make a switch if needed. That doesn't happen in the real world. Not at all. So if you get some behaviors, you get some behaviors. And boy, did I get some behaviors.
Oh, goodness.
I can't go too into detail.
Of course.
But TLDR, I came home last night and I was so numb. I was so despondent. My mom was like, what the hell is wrong? What has happened? And I burst into tears.
Oh, no.
It's like, they broke me. And it's only been 1 month. They broke me.
Gosh. Oh, that's crazy. Jeez.
But I will say this. Today was better.
Well,
although it was very funny. Because I found a lucky penny outside of one of my schools. And it was heads up. So I was like, oh, this has to be good luck. I picked up, literally after I picked up that penny, everything, not wrong per se, but, mild to moderate inconvenience. So I was like, wow, fuck that penny. That was a lie. I demand a refund, please. I demand a refund for my lucky penny. My lucky penny.
Blaming the penny now.
I was promised luck, and it didn't give me luck. Twas a scam, I tell you, a scam.
They gotcha.
But yeah, Monday was the biggest Monday to ever Monday.
My
Tuesday,
gosh.
not too bad. Today was pretty swish, pretty chill. You don't need ears.
Yes, dichotomy. I'm trying to do it. I know you can't hear me, but I'm trying to fix it.
Hi.
Oh my gosh, did I stir? I don't think I stirred my tea. Let's use this pen.
Mars has so much to do. Basically, I gotta reorganize my whole game plan for this, I want to call it a semester, but it's not a semester.
I used a pen to stir my tea.
So, Ori.
It wasn't tea, it was apple cider. And it was the back of the pen, okay?
All right. At least you didn't dip the front in.
I'm not dipping the ink part in. Okay.
Well, I was about to ask, was it your tablet pen or your actual pen?
No electronics. Like a Bic blue ballpoint pen.
Okay, good, because like
God,
that
no.
would have been hard.
Tablet pen, excuse me.
Oh,
I guard this shit with my life. You ever go over like disaster scenarios in your head and you're like, if there's a fire, like what would you take? It's the fucking tablet, man. It's the fucking tablet. The tablet and the computer.
Can be recovered. Well, you have a desktop?
I do have a desktop, but it is also fully backed up onto a thing. But hey, you just unplug it quick. I'd rather it shut down and lose whatever I'm working on than not have anything at all,
Guys, guess what? Mars is going to be a good content creator and put on the story that we are currently live.
Yes, that's a good idea. Don't look at this. Look at something else. Hold on. Don't take a picture of this.
Because I'm not creative at all.
Let me.
Crap. Well, I screenshotted that.
Let me give you something better, okay?
Yeah, give me something to work with,
Okay,
Ori.
conservatory, fan art, that kind
How
of
am
games.
I supposed to show off what we do to people if you don't give me anything to work with?
Here, post the gay shit.
Ah, yes. Yeah, that's the stuff. That's the ticket. I just gotta wait for this to catch up. There we go. Beautiful.
Give it that gay stuff.
Yes, this is what the people want. We know this for a fact. See, MP, we're gay. Also, I don't think I said my hellos yet. Hello, MP. Hello, Pastry Puff. Hello. Well, I did say hi, Dichotomy.
I'm gonna try to be a good content creator too.
Yes, guys, Ori and I are doing this thing. It's called being responsible. And we're seeing how it goes this week. Yeah.
I mean, it should be more than a week, hopefully. We're trying to be actual content creators and do the actual, like, social media side of it, which is the tough side. Won't lie. That's the hard part. Okay, so my week has only been annoying because my job, both today and yesterday, were full of long distances of traffic. I drove for 2 hours yesterday to get to somewhere that should be 40 minutes away. That was a rough time.
I'm sorry for this, like, giggling. I used a question mark instead of an exclamation point, so instead of "we are live and running," I wrote "we are live and running."
I didn't know that we would be up and doing today.
I didn't know we were live. God.
All right.
Oh, that's gonna be fun, NP. Have fun with your search history after that. But, Ori, you were saying, I'm so sorry I interrupted.
Yeah, so just a lot of driving, a lot of traffic, and so getting home a lot later than I normally would with work still to do, and so just everything has been late, and I was like trying to finish all my video editing thumbnails, so I drew, in the span of 2 days, I drew 6 thumbnails for videos to try and get up, but at least now I'm caught up, and because I'm doing shorter time videos, I should be able to still be on top and still get 2 videos done this week, but it's just a lot. And I just have the Dungeon Mesh Design check-in is today, and
yeah,
I wanted to post this Dichotic Games thing.
You will see mine on Friday, because guess what? Mars gets 2 days off this week because of the holiday. So, I still have to go into the center, but I don't have to go into the schools. It's quite lovely. So, we will be playing catch-up that day. Hardcore catch-up.
And so, yeah, life just kind of all hit here on October. But I've been a decent content creator. I've been posting on and then I have commission works that I'm trying to get done, and just a lot happened all at once. I don't need this right now. Goodness. Okay, I'm almost done with this.
October turn into the busiest friggin' month.
I'm almost done with this.
I don't know.
This. And then we can be set. It always happens. That's why I'm sorry that the month calendar is not up yet. I barely got around to apparently posting this week's calendar, as you may have noticed.
Please forgive us.
It's all my fault. I take all the blame. Yeah, guys. They don't tell you this, but you know.
Doing fine.
It's just there's always so much stuff to do.
Working.
Honestly, I feel like half the time it's not necessarily any one month is better or worse than the other. I think literally what it is just you put things off and then they catch up to you.
They really do. Always.
Like, yeah, always. I really don't feel like it's necessarily like, oh, this month is busier than the other. It's like, no, I've known about all these things. I just haven't been doing them.
Yeah.
You know? But, have you seen that new update on the webcomic Reads?
I did. Oh my god, I died.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, like, Shu is willing to do.
My boy. Speak your truth. Speak
Yeah.
your truth.
I had hoped the bro was a little, was a little more receptive, though. Out of all the bros, you know, the other two bros. But you know.
Can't
but
win 'em
speaking
all, sadly.
of Reads, they have a music video for their like theme song of the webcomic Reads, and that I would say is kind of some sort of maybe adaptation. Not really, but we're talking about adaptations, so yeah.
Ori's looking for a segue. Guess what, guys? We're talking about
I did my best.
actual stuff again.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been a hell of a while.
Sorry.
You know what? What better time to return?
But you like
than
hanging out with us anyway,
with
so
adaptation.
we appreciate that. Oh,
And
cheap
we greatly
viewers.
appreciate it.
No.
Cheap viewers.
Goodbye.
No, we're not here for that.
Our
Goodbye.
viewers ain't cheap. We had to pay a lot
don't
of effort for our
insult
viewers.
our
Not
chat
money,
like that.
but effort. You guys are worth more than any viewers we could buy cheaply.
Exactly.
Tisk.
We don't
For shame.
insult our viewers like that. No. How dare they insinuate otherwise?
Indeed.
So rude.
Okay. So yes, when we talk about adaptations, I feel like the biggest one is people think of like movie adaptations, right? Usually from a book to a movie. In recent years, we've seen
movie adaptations.
we've seen a lot more video games
We've also
to
seen
movies.
a lot of series as well. And the reason I
into
kind of got
TV
started
series.
on this kick, absolutely, especially with like Netflix and all the streaming services, because like they're looking to capitalize on nostalgia. If it was popular back then as a book, surely it's got to be popular now as a series. And guys, I gotta be honest, the reason this like came back into my brain is because one, Pastry Puff has been watching Moriarty the Patriot, which is, you know, in its own way an adaptation of the Sherlock Holmes book. I would honestly claim that it's an adaptation, but it's also fan fiction, because everyone is gay, everyone is great in that. Holmes and Moriarty ship, like clearly the author ships it, so it's
No
like
spoilers.
that show is both adaptation and fan fiction. I didn't give spoilers.
I'm just saying.
Ori, Pastry Puff has seen episode 11.
Oh,
They
okay.
definitely made it past the home simping for Moriarty part.
This is true.
Touch me if you can, Mr.
Yes.
Holmes.
It's so wild when it's like I didn't know what that like was from. Like I knew that of that sound before we watched it. So that was always funny.
It was too good.
Yeah, the
But
gay
no,
vibes
so
are becoming
that's
very
one
present
reason.
indeed.
It's very present. It becomes even more present in season 2, which is just immaculate chef's kiss. But the other reason that I've been thinking about adaptations recently is because there is a series currently out. They made an adaptation of a book series that I actually read back in middle school. And it's called The Uglies, which is a dystopian novel, basically all about what if there was a society where you are told your whole life you're ugly, but by the time you hit a certain age, like there's this technology that can make all your imperfections, quote unquote, disappear. And that's kind of like the world that it's built on. But they recently made an adaptation of that, and people had some mixed feelings about it. Some of them were kind of like, okay, you missed the dystopian genre by like 17 years. We haven't had a dystopian adaptation in God knows how long. So some people were like, you missed the ball. This is too late to do an adaptation. Like the ship has already sailed.
Oh, interesting.
And then you had the other side of the coin where people were like, no, this felt so nostalgic because it reminded me of the Divergent days. It reminded me of the Hunger Game days. And people were like, this brought me back to like when I was a middle schooler going to the theater to see those movies. Like it was so camp. It was so like over the top dramatic. I couldn't help but laugh. Kind of like so bad it's good people were arguing. I will come out and say I did not watch it because when do I have the friggin' time?
A vibe.
I watched a couple video essays about it. So clearly that's the same, right? Absolutely not. But it's gotten me thinking about how, creators do adaptations. How do they take a book that is allowed to be as long as it realistically needs or wants to be and shorten that down into a 2-hour movie or an 8-episode series or 12-episode series? Like, that is a tough task. How do you decide which parts are the most important? How do you decide what to keep, what to change, what to simplify, what to expand upon more?
Glad to hear you got back in.
There are some adaptations that go an extra step and decide to add content instead of taking it away. The most classic example coming to mind off the top of my head is like with Lord of the Rings. Yes, it's based on the books, but then they had that whole secondary plot line of Arwen? Arwen's?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember her name.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Irons? I'll go with that. Basically, I'm gonna look it up because I know I'm mispronouncing it. God, what was her name? Why am I blanking? I watched these movies.
But there's so many types of adaptations. Like there's been movies.
A plot line about her life being tied to the ring, and they did that. Like, why did they do that? Why did they do that? There must have been a reason because it wasn't in the book, but they decided this is important enough to add. So, like, how do you make decisions like that? I thought you were going to say something. That's why I paused.
No. I was just going to stall while you were looking it up, but you looked it up very fast. So it worked out.
I gave up, honestly.
Oh. All I was going to say is there's so many types of adaptations. Because I also remember a big thing that I don't see happen so much anymore, but a big thing was stuff being turned into video games. There were SpongeBob video games, Kim Possible video games, Little Mermaid the video game, Harry Potter the video game. Like there was
remember that one.
So many franchises that were, usually TV shows or movies, like we talked about the other day, Larry Boy, which was a video game, right? Turning things into video games, where nowadays I feel like the more classic is turning a video game into a movie, as we have the Sonic, now going to be trilogy,
movie, we got
Mario,
the Minecraft movie, Five
Nights at Freddy's.
I heard Poppy's Playtime is in the works now.
Oh, God.
I'm curious to see how they do that, considering, like, we definitely don't have as much story as we do Five Nights at Freddy's. So
not by that point, yeah.
But it's interesting to see how adaptations have changed, because you're absolutely right, Ori. We used to take books, and to a degree we're still doing that, but now it's all about the video game. So it's kind of interesting. I think people look at that. One, it's the nostalgia. Like, they want to capture that feeling. But also, you're honestly thinking about it, it's not too different, because playing a video game is a very immersive experience if, the video game dev did their job right. But you feel like you're in that video game world. You're making these decisions. You're the player. You're the first-person perspective. Mm-hmm. And the same can be said for books as well. Like, whether that's being told in the first person, third person, second person, you're still experiencing the story. That would be wild, pastry puffs. That would be wild.
That would be wild.
I'd
but
be
that's
tempted.
What's very interesting, because another thing is that video games vary on their level of story involved. I would not have ever called Minecraft specifically a game with a story. Okay,
I would never have said Minecraft was story driven.
There have been game theories about it. There's obviously like a little thing that goes on with the fact of the end, and that there is an end.
Who look at the story and are like, ooh, this is a template. This is a foundation. I can create something from this, like Dream and his team. Like they just use Minecraft as their playground and then went from
but
there
I would
to
not
make
have
their
called
own
that anything
story.
that, well, maybe you could say that story could not have been told in any other format. Minecraft was not the thing. Minecraft was the place setting, right? And
it was the playground. It was the sandbox. And
that was less because of and I don't feel like that was like a specific choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you still could have told that compelling story and not had it been in Minecraft, versus like, why make a Minecraft movie? You know, you're trying to, it could be a movie, you know, you could tell the same story any other way, versus with a Sonic movie or a Mario movie, you are using characters that do have a level of lore to them, you know?
Yeah, well, they have
exactly,
the lore built in, because those games are very story driven. They're incredibly story driven. You have the characters, you have the lore, and depending on like which one you decide to look at, which one you decide to follow, people can pull inspiration from that, and that's how we ended up with the Sonic movie in the first place. Whereas with Minecraft, it's like they're kind of going off in any direction, I feel.
Well, because at least I know
the story is these people enter the Minecraft world and they seem to know nothing about Minecraft. Isekai. And then they run into sea. It's very isekai. It is incredibly isekai. And this is something that movies love doing. Like, even as far back as, like, think back to the 90s. And guys, I'm so sorry. This is always the first example that comes to my mind, is Fat Albert. That was an adaptation based on a TV show that already existed, which is fascinating. We went from one visual media, like a TV series, and then we made a live action movie. The only change there was that now it's live action and now it's 2 hours instead of a series. It kind of makes you question, like, I mean, they definitely did because of the live action appeal. Because I don't know why, but we're always fascinated. Like, what if this cool, imaginative, fantastical thing existed in real life?
Well, that's another big one.
Like to bring that to life? That's a huge draw.
But there's also not necessarily even being a reverse isekai, like the Smurfs movie's a reverse isekai, like Fat Albert's a reverse isekai. But there's also just adapting something from animation to live action. That's another thing.
Because now that we're on the topic of live action movies, how would you classify Alvin and the Chipmunks? Because they are leaving their forest and going to like this.
I would not call it an isekai at all, because I would not call it an isekai at all, and the reason for that is because there's no they have always existed in the same world that what's his name exists, right? What's the guy's name?
Dave,
thank you. I wanted to say Steve. I'm on the Minecraft shit. No, it's not dichotomy game. A reverse so an isekai is specifically someone from our world. In this, I think it has to be in modern time, but maybe not. But our world,
it has to be either modern times or like real world.
But it's literally the real world
shit around,
and it's almost always like modern time. Going to another universe
to go to another magical world. You'd never have.
That's not an isekai. That's just portals.
From Slime leaving that world to go to Riri.
The reason it's not dichotomy. The reason it's not is because one.
Be interesting.
So I don't think it's functionally the same, and the reason for that is because the hijinks that happen are very different depending on which way you go, right? Because the hijinks of, say, the guy from the Sonic movie ending up in Sonic's world would be very, very different than what happens when Sonic and all of his characters are leaking into our world. There's a very different set of circumstances that goes on, right? You know, we have one of my favorite reverse isekais is The Devil is a Part-Timer, where a guy who is literally devil demon lord of this other realm gets chased into modern day Japan and starts working at McDonald's. Okay, basically McDonald's, you know, copyright free McDonald's. And
it's basically
that
McDonald's.
would never happen the other way around. And if it did, it would still not be the same, right? Like, even if you were like, okay, I'm
change the dynamic of the show.
The restaurant guy, it's still a different thing because you're specifically going to another world, right? And so that's why it does matter, and that's why it does matter that there's like another word for it, because it's specifically, because I think isekai is specifically worded in the way, like in the actual, like, I don't, what's the actual definition of like word isekai mean?
Let's see, isekai. No, I refuse to look at the AI answer.
Another world. So I guess technically
literally another world.
But it usually, but I would say that the way that your language is you're referring to the world that you're in, and the language is created here. So another world would be the thing. I'm so sorry you're earless again, Dichotomy.
Condolences, Dichotomy. I'm glad you could join us for a little bit, though.
Yeah. But all right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of talking about adaptations, right? We could go on and on and on about the types of adaptations. The idea is that all kinds of adaptations exist, basically, right? I feel like you could adapt into something that's very interesting. You don't see a lot of things adapted into or out of claymation. But besides the point, I would ask fundamentally, Mars, that would you say that certain adaptations are more doomed to fail or harder than others? For example, would you say that it is much more difficult to make a book into a movie than, say, a live action, an animated thing into an animated movie into a live action movie? Do you feel that certain directions are harder than others?
See, that's an interesting question. And I feel it varies for very, very different reasons. Because with your example of we're taking this show that already exists and now we're just adapting it into live action.
Yeah, let's talk about Beauty and the Beast. Right?
That on paper sounds like the simplest thing in the world. Because honestly, for this example, look at the live action Disney remakes. They are literally looking to the old movies, pulling the script, pulling the storyboards, and literally it's just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Now, here's the issue with that, and specifically the live action Disney movies, is people are catching on that they're copy pasting. And that is just not something entertaining to watch, because now the only appeal you have, it's not your characters, it's not your story, because everyone's already familiar with it. And let's be honest, the things they quote unquote change to update and improve the story never has a lasting impact at all. Like, they introduce a book in the live action Beauty and the Beast that could take you anywhere, and it's literally never used outside of one added scene. But is it used in the scene where Belle needs to go save her father? No, not at all. And why is that? Because they need her to be running away from the castle on the horse like she did in the original animated one. So I feel like in that case, it comes down to who's working on the project. Do you have someone who wants to add something new to the story? Or do you have a team who's just like, we're going to just take the storyboards, but make it live action? And that is your only appeal. And I gotta say, when our movie is live action is your only appeal, it's a gimmick. It'll get you a little far, but you're not going to be memorable. That's just my personal opinion. Personally, I feel like it's a little lazy when they do that. Because like you could change the story. One live action that did try to shake it up was the live action Pete's Dragon. And I feel like the reason they felt they could take risks with that was because Pete's Dragon, well, first of all, it was already live action. The only difference was the dragon was hand-drawn, not CGI. This was literally just kind of an update of the technology and maybe a more mature retelling of the story. But they did change things in that story, to my understanding, at least from what I remember. I did see it when it first came out, but it's been a while. God, when did that movie come out? But at least they felt they could take a risk on it, because Pete's Dragon, you know, it doesn't have as many diehard fans as Beauty and the Beast, as Aladdin, where if someone saw that, they're like, oh, how dare you change that? That didn't happen in the original. They were more free to experiment with something that was more low stakes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you get intrigued. That's where you get investment. Because if you're going to do something different with an adaptation, people want to see, okay, well, you're adapting this. Now you need to justify, why is it not necessarily better, but why is it worth being told in this format? Why was it appealing to have Sonic be live action when we already have video games, TV shows, comic books? Like, Sonic spans a whole range of media. Basically, why was it worth seeing him in live action? Well, luckily, there were some good writers on the team. They told an intriguing fish out of water story with that first movie. It was funny. People cared about the characters, but it also felt like it carried the spirit of the original. And that's the biggest thing. I keep going off and saying I feel like that's the biggest thing, but really there are so many factors. But something you have to consider with adaptations, and I feel like this can make or break, is, does it carry the spirit of the original thing that's so beloved? Sonic, luckily, succeeded with that. Once we got rid of real teeth Sonic, we were rolling. We were good. We were great.
Yeah.
And sorry, I'm catching up on chat. I'm seeing so much happening over here.
There's certainly things happening.
Person X from world enters Y world, enter person what? Dichotomy, are you studying to be a lawyer by chance?
No.
Well, Dichotomy, I would argue in that case that depending on whether you're classifying it as a regular isekai or a reverse isekai depends on whose perspective you're looking from. If you want to classify it as, oh, fantasy person goes to real world, but we're looking at it through fantasy person's eyes, then, okay, in their mind, that would classify as a regular isekai. But if I'm looking at it through my eyes, a boring-ass human, it's a reverse isekai. Because sadly, magic is not a thing, and I wish it was. My career path would have been so different if magic were real.
I feel like most would. Another no ears person.
No ears. Oh my goodness. Hi. Oops, that's not the letter I wanted. Hi, Mason.
So Mars,
Dichotomy, I'm not disagreeing with you. Definitely if you're looking from the other perspective. But if you're looking from your own perspective, and you exist in a world with no magic, 'tis a reverse isekai if they're coming from the magic world.
But all right, Mars. So we talked about how format can always have its own pitfalls, one way or the other. Seemingly, sameness could happen. You know, these sort of things, just ways to adapt it. What would you say? Do you think that there is things? I guess what would you say would be reasons that you would say something should be adapted into any of the other possibilities? What, you know, if it doesn't matter the format, right? If it doesn't matter if we're starting with a video game, a book, a movie, a TV show, you know, whatever. We're starting with something, doesn't matter. What qualities would you say this thing has to have to warrant it being worth adapting into something else? Because we're concerned about sameness, right? We're concerned about all these sort of things.
So here's the thing about sameness, because I gotta be honest, this rule is kind of like, it's a double-edged sword. You look at the Disney live actions and they get criticized for it. But I know we have a lot of anime watchers in chat, and a lot of anime adaptations stick very true to their manga counterparts. However, I think in that, and please add to the conversation, because this is so interesting to me. I think there's a difference in expectation there. Because when you have an anime adaptation from a manga, people are expecting, oh, this is going to be like the manga I love so much. I'm finally going to see this panel in motion. I'm going to hear
there you go.
Voice.
I think
and they expect it to have as close of an adaptation as possible. A manga essentially is almost like a built-in storyboard. You have those panels. You can just kind of look at that. But then sometimes, take Demon Slayer, for instance. While the artwork in Demon Slayer is very, very good, Ufotable took it a step further. Now you have camera angles. Now you have movement. Now you have all these different things that, yes, you can convey in panels, but it feels so much different. And I think the music heightening the experience. You have the voice acting heightening the experience.
I think you've immediately hit the nail on the head, Mars, with the sense that when you were talking about sameness, you were talking about specifically adapting something from animation to live action. What is the difference there? Literally just how it looks. You still have voice acting, you still have movement, you still have camera angles. You still have music.
The original thing.
You still have all of these things. The sole difference is that this lion looks like a real lion or this lion looks like a cartoon lion. Okay?
No, it doesn't.
Well, okay. This person is a real actress or it looks like a cartoon, princess. Okay?
Yes.
Those are the main differences based flat out. You could literally tell the exact same story just literally with real actors versus animation. Okay?
Yeah.
Now there's a whole lot of nuance there, but that's basically the biggest change. Versus when you take
we could even go into the
a
whole,
manga.
The live action version is the grown up version. This is something interesting I heard the other day. Was that I forget which video essay I was listening to. But someone said that in the realm of media, people see live action as the goalpost. If you make a live action adaptation of whatever existed previously, that's how you know that franchise made it big. But people are also like, oh, that's the grown-up version. That's the version I should watch because it's live action, because it's real. And I'm sure we've all met at least one person in our lives who are like, oh yeah, I watch live action stuff. That's the mature stuff.
That's mostly a cultural thing, though, because when you look at Japan,
very much a cultural thing.
When you look to Japan, anime is such a big thing. Nobody there is being like, oh, you're an adult and you watch it. Everybody watches anime. It's not like you don't have adult cartoons which are basically just animated sitcoms. You don't have.
If you're a 28-year-old watching Pajama Mask, you're gonna get some looks.
Yeah. And so, but I think the biggest thing that we were talking about is just the idea of, with moving from manga to anime, with moving from even say a book to a movie or a show, you are actually adding. Yeah, let's adults watch cartoons. Exactly. We do. That's because honestly, they're better a lot of the time. I just find live action very boring, guys. They're forced to be gritty a lot. But point being is that going from a written media, even one with visuals like a manga or a comic, there is more added by adding movement and voice acting and music. You've added a sense, right? Now let's say there's a podcast musical, okay? Literally anything like that's very interesting. There's the Adventure Zone. Oh, well, there's that. But there's the Adventure Zone. Right, the Adventure Zone is a live it's a D&D actual play podcast. There's words that have to go with it, and I got there. It's a D&D actual play podcast, and it has been and is nearly done being fully adapted into a comic, a graphic novel, and that both adds and removes things, which makes it very interesting and, in my opinion, very enjoyable to relive, because while I don't get their voices and I don't get any music and sound effects, I do get to actually see what is happening. And that is an interpretation that you don't get before.
Envision the voices that I'm
well,
already
because there
familiar
are
with
voices, you get that, yeah.
Them. Exactly.
So,
and that could be a benefit of going from movie to book. Like, so I watched the Harry Potter movies before I ever touched the books.
Do you have an example in this? I'm trying to think of a book to a movie that went to a movie musical.
A book to a movie musical?
Because I know books to movies to musicals, but I don't know about
what's the name of that movie?
Musical.
What's the name of that movie? It's got Matthew Broderick and the guy who played Timon. What is that name? The Producers. The Producers. Was that ever a book?
I don't know if that was a book.
As a movie.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a book. But it's not a movie musical now. It's a musical, right? Like, that's the difference. The
Producers is a movie musical. It's a movie with song numbers.
But it was never just a movie. Right? Enthuse is saying book to just movie to then movie musical.
Oh, no, you know what the Producer was? I think it was stage play, then movie musical. They took out the songs.
It's very weird.
And then they added them back in a remake.
That's a slightly different thing. Musical, whether film or, a live Broadway performance, is also an interesting thing to do, because you are adding a level of a layer to it with having the singing aspect of it that honestly is very divisive amongst people. I will say some people fucking hate it. Some people, are cultured and they enjoy it, like actual people. But
Or throwing shade.
I am throwing shade. There are so many people that are like, I don't like Hazbin Hotel because of I don't like musicals. And it's, well, like, you're not a person then. I don't know what to tell you. There's a difference between there are bad musicals that it's like the music doesn't make sense. It doesn't add anything. A lot of people hate on jukebox musicals. And I feel like that is a very easy thing to hate on because it's kind of missing the point of musicals in the sense of like, the way you write a musical theater song is very different than the way you write a pop song. And that was a whole problem with Wish, right? Is that there is a difference in how you write a song that you want people to listen to on the radio that has a big chorus that isn't telling necessarily so much of a story. Obviously, there are music videos that have had chains of songs in an album that have like a story told. I know Panic at the Disco does this, or they're like music videos tell a story, but I wouldn't say the songs itself are fully telling the story versus literally a musical should be, I should be able to listen to every song in order and understand what is happening.
To the soundtrack and know the story
literally and understand
on.
What's happening. Listen to any musical that has been even like decent, right? And of course the better, but like just any musical that is like, this is meant to be a musical, is written by people who like musicals. I never saw Be More Chill, the musical. That was a book to a musical, never a movie to my understanding. I never saw Heathers the musical originally. I never saw Dear Evan Hansen as a musical originally. I had only listened to the music. And you get a very, very concrete idea. Oh, yes, enthuse. Phineas and Ferb was genius. And the fact it added so much to the show. Because without the music and
honestly,
the goofness of it.
The music in that one was a garnish.
Yeah,
like they weren't needed to understand the story, but they were appreciated.
But they also were a lot of the times doing like the thing, and the times that they weren't singing about what they were doing were for specific gags, right? But what are like the really
you mentioned about pop music versus theater music?
Yeah,
pop music is meant to have this. This can apply to anyone. I'm not singing like maybe I'm singing about something.
We're not to apply to anyone. It's supposed to be catchy. It can have meaning, but it's not meant to tell a story. story, right? It doesn't have to, because think about it. Well, this is personally, I majority
Epic
enjoy.
That is all story.
It's all story, but I majority like what is it called? Lyrical songs. Okay, I like to sing along with them, and so it does. And then because of having a comic and everything, the lyrics matter because I'm listening to how this would work with an some sort of animatic for the comic, right? This is how the loop of Ori finding you music goes. Okay, but I'm imagining the story to it. There is meaning behind the songs, right? Because there's songs that are breakup songs, love songs, whatever, right? There is a meaning behind it, but they're not telling a concrete story like musical theater is, right?
And that's
musical
what makes
theater
them so flexible, where you can put them in other songs. Like that's how we got that influx of AMVs back in like the early 2010s. People heard this music and was like, "Oh, that reminds me of this scene from Naruto. I'm gonna animate this song to it." Like, guys, I was part of that. My YouTube channel started out as a Sonic AMV channel because I was like, "Wow, this song sounds so Sonic. I can imagine him running around to this, and I can imagine the story that goes to this."
And so it's very, but so now posit the question, right? We talked about that the better way to adapt things, in our opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, is taking something and getting to add layers of, I guess, experience to it, right? Taking a book and going to something with also visual and voice acting, right? Taking a manga or a comic and going to something that is visual and voice acting.
Should add more. It doesn't necessarily have to be changes in the story or anything, but it does have to be like, this is something you can get through this medium that you can't get through the other medium.
So I guess the question would be, when would you feel that something either stops being an adaptation and becomes a reimagining, or should not be called an adaptation, right? The idea of like, so like take, and for lack of better things, like Velma,
go
right?
for it.
I would not say that Velma is a Scooby-Doo adaptation. Velma is a Scooby-Doo reimagining.
Velma's
not necessarily in a good way, but it took characters, ideals of characters, more like tropes of characters, and put them into very different but vaguely similar situations. We talked about how like Moriarty the Patriot.
Here's what Velma did. And I love that you brought that up as an example, because it is such a perfect example of how you do adaptation versus reimagining. Now, I don't know if this was ever their intention for a reimagining, but this is definitely what happened, because they had the foundations for these characters. You had the mystery gang, you had the mystery machine, you had the town name that they've been in thanks to other mediums, other adaptations that they've been a part of. But the point it crossed where it became a reimagining is that those characters were so different from other adaptations. Like, they had changes to their personality. They had character traits added to their personality, to the point where you could argue, why the hell did you need the Scooby-Doo characters to do this story? You could have just made original characters and told the exact same story. You did not need the mystery gang to do it. So where I feel that it goes from an adaptation to a reimagining is where there are enough changes that it no longer connects to the original source material. If there are so many changes that you can look at this thing and be like, why isn't this existing as its own story? Why did we need these characters? Why did we need this story? I'm trying to think of another example. Velma was a very good one.
I'm trying to think
this is where something like Moriarty the Patriot
that's what I'm
is
saying.
Different.
Right,
Because, yes, it does change things about the characters
motivations.
To a degree. It changes the motivations, exactly. But they are still recognizable as Moriarty is acting like Moriarty. Sherlock Holmes is acting like Sherlock Holmes. Everyone
Watson is very Watson.
Watson is very Watson.
Honestly, Pastry Puff, I love Lestrade in Moriarty the Patriot a lot. I feel like he's done dirty a lot of times.
You can still look at the characters of Moriarty the Patriot and see where their roots came from. You don't get that with something like Velma. You see inklings of it based on their character design and maybe like some vague reference
names
to a previous, that's basically the only connection. I would say those are the biggest differences between the two examples you brought up. Moriarty still feels like Moriarty.
I would ask where you put a lot of what happens to what I would say is like superheroes, right? There's a lot of in the sort of
there's so many adaptations for superheroes.
Universe of Western comic superheroes. There are so many different groups of stories of different. I hesitate to say timelines because that's not what we're talking. Just like we had Superman, and you have the very first Superman that was written by, originally that is the first Superman. But then you have all of these other groupings of Dark Superman, and they play a lot around that in a lot of modern media with like the multiverse theory, right? You see that with Spider-Man, both Spider-Man live action and, Into the Spider-Verse. You see that in the, Superman's, My Adventures with Superman, that new one, is playing with that around and stuff like that, these different alternate timeline Clarks and all these sort of stuff. And, it's like a whole thing. What would you call that sort of thing? Are they adapting? Are they reimagining? What's sort of happening here?
It's interesting because I don't really see that as adapting or reimagining. Sometimes it crosses the line into reimagining, but then it also, that breaks its own rule that I've established with Velma, because Superman is still recognizable as Superman,
exactly,
even if he's now Dark Superman. So I hesitate to call those reimaginings. If the idea is different enough, it could be like a light reimagining. I think you have heavy reimaginings, such as Velma, and then you have light reimaginings where you still have someone like Superman. He's still recognizable as Superman. He's still doing the powers we recognize as Superman powers, but maybe he's a little bit darker. Maybe he has a grimmer outlook on life. That's something different, but it's not drastically changing what we recognize. It may be changing the personality, and that's introducing a new idea because the reason an author would do that is because this is an idea they've wanted to explore.
So now,
what Pastry Puff said in the chat about Moriarty the Patriot, they're focusing more on Moriarty than Holmes and Watson because everybody knows Holmes and Watson. We have so many adaptations featuring stories about them. It is almost impossible to not know who Sherlock Holmes is. So to have another story about Sherlock Holmes would just be more of the same. The way you make this adaptation interesting is to focus on someone who didn't get a lot of attention in the original iterations, Moriarty and his crew. That's what makes it a reimagining worth telling, because it's a perspective we've never seen before. It's a new idea that the audience hasn't seen yet.
So now I would posit, would you say that in the sort of back to the superhero comic, sort of scenario, that those would be considered a separate thing entirely in more of the alternate universe category, which would be independent from adaptation or reimagining?
I personally feel with comics, and I'm not going to claim I'm a comic enthusiast, guys. I don't own any. I've never been a huge part of that, but I do know that a lot of comic fans do define certain issues by different eras. Like this was the dark era, this was the light era. I'm simplifying it, but it's basically to that degree where they're like, oh, and this is when this new author took over the story. This is when this writer came on board, and then this plot line was introduced. So comics are so hard to define as either adaptation or reimagining because they exist on a continuum. So I find it more appropriate to say that it's more like eras, where it's like you have this era of Superman where he's all Americano, he's very like helpful, he wants to be doing these good deeds, he wants to protect Earth. Okay, we'll call it the hero era. Then you got, oh, this is Dark Superman. He's been like stepped on by the world, he's hated by the government, he did this, he did that, he's lost his optimism. This is the dark era. So it's like, because there's not enough there to like say, oh, that's not Superman. Now, granted, you do have some fans who are like, oh, Superman isn't optimistic, and that's the crux of his character. You can't have Superman if he's not this way. And I know a lot of people felt that way with the live-action Zack Snyder films. Like, people are like, oh, that Superman was too dark. Like, he broke Zod's neck, that he would never do that, he would never kill. Like, that's against his creed. And people are like, that's not my Superman. I don't recognize him. But they weren't saying, this is a bad reimagining. They were saying, oh, this is a bad adaptation. So it's one of those where I feel a lot of people personally use the words interchangeably when there are some differences, but there's also a lot of crossover. Comics just especially, it gets complicated because it's the same character, and then you bring new writers on board, then you bring new artists on board, then you bring like new story directors on board, and things change, things shift, but it's like growing and morphing.
How do you feel about that as a concept? That is a very common thing to happen with very well-renowned and beloved, I guess the word would be franchise, but like it's, you know, you see it a lot in comics, DC, Marvel, you know, comics. You see that a lot of having different writers, different artists doing the same characters but with new stories and new things and all this sort of stuff. But you can also see it in other things. There's a lot of book series that have had, unfortunately, a lot of times, well, there's that where that's specifically a collective of people writing under one name, but to my understanding that was always a collective. That was never not a collective. But then you have,
to my knowledge, they never brought anyone new on board.
Yeah, but then you have something that happened with, like, I really enjoyed the Wizard of Oz series of books, but unfortunately the original author passed away, and it was taken up by, I can't remember exactly who, but someone, you know, either related or you know, known, a close friend of the author, took up writing it, and then not only finished the book that had already been started by the late author, but continuing to write more and more novels after that. When would you say that, do you think that is something that should be done? Do you think that is something that should be just write your own stories, you know, if you're trying to sort of ghost write, right? Because there's a different, you know, if you're not trying to adapt, you're trying to be this era's Superman author, you know?
Yeah. Now, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to bring new writers on board for these old ideas that have existed, because, you know, without those writers, like, we never would have gotten Miles Morales. We never would have gotten Spider-Woman. We never would have gotten all these different iterations that maybe only comic book fans knew about. But now, thanks to the movies, everyone has a favorite Spider-Verse character. It's pretty...
But see, that's an interesting separate thing, though, I would say.
It's interesting that you mentioned with the books, because I feel like in that case specifically, it's happening a lot now. Like, you have all these... Oh yeah, absolutely. Because not necessarily for continuing book series, but like you have franchises like Star Wars. You have franchises like even the... I was in the bookstore the other day, and I saw books like, what if Cinderella never this? What if Snow White never this? So I look at them, and it's like, no, they're being released under the official Disney brand. Like, Disney has these writers that are making stories based on these properties.
Oh, interesting.
That were that were created by other people. So this is fairly common nowadays, where you have all these authors coming on board, and it's like they're kind of throwing their hat into the ring. They're like, I'm going to write a book
but to me,
that's in this universe.
That sounds more like a reimagining. Those sound more...
That one is.
Yeah.
So
versus...
I feel like to do what you're saying, to have a continuation, like, that one's hard to do. Should the continuation exist? It would be nice to have more stories. If the story didn't end in a satisfying way and an author wanted to try their hand, I don't see the harm in it.
But I feel the difference, like, what I'm saying is that it's like, to me, there's a difference between, so there's the Wizard of Oz series, right? Written by, for the first, you know, however many books, one author, the author that wrote the original Wizard of Oz.
Right.
There are
the
then
original era.
Yeah, there are then, he unfortunately passed away, and there's one book written by, you know, both of them, right? The new author and the original author, because the original author had started writing the book before he passed away. And then multiple continuing books by the new author that has basically just done the effort to take up the mantle. It is not a reimagining. It is continuing to tell stories in the world with the characters created by the original author. They're not attempting to do their own thing. It's not Wizard of Oz, but what if Dorothy was a dog? You know, like, it's not like, right, like, it's not like a reimagining like, of the Wizard of Oz story.
My next question is, how do they advertise these books? Are they advertising it as, oh, the Wizard of Oz?
It is,
or are
it
they
is the same
as
title name.
Spin-off?
It is the same title name. So it is the same. So because, like, you have the Wizard of Oz, and then you have, like, Ozma of Oz, right? The Emerald City of Oz, like, that's the naming scheme of, like, the book series, right? And then you have the first one, if my recollection is correct, that is written together as, like, the Scarecrow of Oz, and then it just continues on with the same naming scheme. The author's name is different on the books. It does say, like, written by original author and new author, and then written by new author, but the title scheme is identical, you know? The naming scheme is identical.
Okay, so your question is, should authors continue the series after the original?
Yeah, how do we feel about that?
And claim it's the original.
And with the specific effort to make it as if the author never like, to take up the mantle specifically, right? Like, there's a difference between I like the fairy tale Cinderella and I want to do my own spin on the fairy tale Cinderella, and then there's a difference between saying I'm taking up the mantle of the Grimm brothers and their series of Cinderella stories to continue writing Cinderella stories, right? I'm not advertising myself as I'm a Grimm brother, like, I'm one of the Grimm brothers, but, like, the goal is to be, like, a continuation of this series of books that is basically just a series of stories, because they're not connected like say the Divergent series, or like the, you know, the Hunger Games series. They're not like a 3-part trilogy, you know, Aragorn or whatever. It's not like a 3-part trilogy. It is like Dorothy goes to Oz, and then Dorothy goes to Oz again with new adventures, and Dorothy goes to Oz again with new adventures, you know, like Magic Treehouse style, I guess.
Realizing that Wizard of Oz is very much like Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, exactly. But also Magic Treehouse
comes back. True. Sorry.
Right? It feels like
a muffin. I'm so sorry.
How dare you? But yeah, honestly, I just sat here and I was like, wow, that feels very Magic Treehouse, where it's like a bunch of stories and each book is its own complete story, right? It's not like
anthology.
Yeah, exactly. It's an anthology. It's an anthology. So, ooh, that's an interesting thing to think about as well. Because then there's very common practice in Japan is manga anthologies, where other artists do write their own little things about the characters. However, what I think is very different and very interesting is this is never posited as I am taking up the mantle of the author.
They are posited as, ooh, I wanted to try this. I love these characters. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity. Like, we both read the Sasaki and Miyano anthologies, and there was always a little note.
But it has a very different vibe.
Like, oh my gosh, I wanted to see this. I want to try that. Well, you read those anthologies, and you can tell, okay, there's notes here, but I can tell this is different.
I can tell this is different.
It's different.
But it very much is not meant to be another story in the line of Sasaki and Miyano. It's a cute little side thing, right? Yeah. And I think also the length matters too.
It's not canon
you're not getting a whole book. You're not getting a whole manga volume of one person writing the book. And remember, we're talking about where the original author has stopped writing for whatever reason, right? For, being unable to write anymore because they've passed away or anything happened, or because they're done with the series, right? I feel like there's a big difference between having a little romp with your friends in the universe I made and having like I'm not writing this story anymore, somebody else is now doing it, right? I think that's...
See, I feel like specifically with your example with them... I'm sorry, I choked on my tea so bad.
Oh my god.
I choked on my tea so bad, you guys.
Relax, take a second.
Well, I can't drink tea, it betrayed me.
You don't have water?
I feel like your idea with the Wizard of Oz is very specific.
It happened with Dr. Seuss. It was a very common thing to happen.
Dr. Seuss, you've had people take up the mantle with Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
And it's like, without that, like, now the Cat in the Hat is recognizable as a child education character, which certainly was not. I don't think it was.
No, he was a bad influence. He was a specific bad influence. Yeah.
he was meant to be a playful and bad influence.
Yeah.
But now he's teaching kids about honeybees and ecology and stuff like that.
Which is wild in its own way, because Dr. Seuss was environmentally, so there's a whole thing, but...
Yeah. Oh, there's skeletons in the closet for sure. But it's also like, if people hadn't taken up that mantle, would something of value have been lost? I personally do think it's worth the effort to try. And if it doesn't pan out, like, that just comes down to audience reception. I feel like it was a very specific case with the author of Wizard of Oz, where unfortunately he did pass. Now, was he... This is what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah.
Did he give a conclusion to his characters, or was there a cliffhanger?
I'm telling you, it's very episodic, right? Okay. Every book is its own
not
story.
Necessarily.
So
the conclusion has wrapped up. Dorothy is grown up and she's off into the world. It's not like Narnia. Okay.
No, it's not like Narnia. It's just Dorothy did an adventure and she went back home.
That's what I'm trying to understand.
And very Magic Treehouse, right? Very Magic Treehouse. They went, they did an adventure, they came back.
If it's an anthology and it exists as its own contained story in each book, I personally, now I don't have an attachment to the series like you do, so I don't have any emotional stakes here. But my personal view is that if it exists as an anthology and it's its own like self-contained story, I think it's okay for a author to try to take up that mantle and try their hand. Because those original stories, they still exist. They can still be read at any time. It's not like... If it exists as its own anthology, I'm not sure how continuity worked in that series.
It was continuous.
What did you specifically hate about that particular?
So this actually will move into the next question that I have, and I think the next sort of...
I don't die again.
Yeah, chill, take a moment, do whatever. But I think exactly why I'm bringing it up is really leads into this next sort of question. And the thing is I very much enjoyed reading the Wizard of Oz books with the original author, and you can tell, because I tried to read the first book that was co-written because he passed away and it wasn't finished, and so somebody took up the mantle. Again, I can't remember for the life of me who but it was someone in relation, you know, that was close to the original author. But point is they took up the mantle. You can feel it, right? Everybody has a different writing style, and no matter how much you try to, you know, copy or, you know, mimic, it will never be identical. And people who, you know, are very perceptive will
plagiarism.
Feel. Well, not even that, but not even like even moving on. Hello, Mason. Welcome, ears. But
Mason.
Yeah, but
so
like
glad you have ears.
It's just you can never copy one for one, right? You're human, and you have your own ways of doing things and writing things.
Writing style that they've developed over years.
And whether or not you're attempting to do it, you'll never have the exact combination of stuff to get the same exact output.
Unless
so the point is, I could feel it, and I did not enjoy. I didn't finish it. Right, I stopped reading the book because it felt wrong, and I feel like what my next question would be is that it's like, I would say that adaptations and taking up the mantles and all these sort of things are a very controversial space compared to a lot of other things, because
agreed.
Because no matter what you're doing, it has already existed and is being done because it already has a fan base, right, of some sort. There are already people who enjoy the original work, whatever it may be, that any adaptation of it, any reimagining of it, anything will be under, to my opinion, significantly more scrutiny than something else that's original would have, right? Because you're under all of the scrutiny, and I don't think there is a world where everybody will be happy. Okay?
No.
Because
absolutely
you're not doing the thing that was original. And even if you're doing it again, but in a different medium, there's going to be people that are like, oh, it's just it again, right? Because while the manga thing has happened, I've also heard specifically that people don't like that it's just the manga again, but animated. So there's a whole, you know, not everybody's going to be happy. And my point being is that I wonder if there are authors like that. Maybe I would have liked this author's work if they wrote their own thing. I'm predisposed to not enjoy this book because it's not what I was expecting. And thus I stopped.
You were expecting something like the original authors, and then it's just not going to happen.
And so it's like, what, you know, it might be a little different with
its own writing, and you didn't have those expectations. If this was just a new book you picked off the shelves, you probably would have had a better time with it.
Exactly. And I feel like it may be an overall detriment to people in the creative space as doing this as their main original thing, without adding a level of original content. Because I talk about fairy tales are redone a lot, right? Fairy tales are redone a lot. But when you see the ones that I think people enjoy, or at least I personally enjoy, they have original characters in them, or they're characters moving throughout the stories, right? Or like, you know, you have the very basis skeleton of poor girl adopted by evil stepmom goes to ball, right? And you strip it down. Cinderella can be anybody, you know, who you feel like making them. And there's like a level of just, are we losing people in the creative space because they're trying to do something again in a very controversial area?
See, that's hard to say. That one's really hard to say, because there are a lot of talented writers out there that only get their break by working on these adaptations or working on these books that are related to an existing fandom. Like, that's where they find their big break. That's where they're like, okay, I broke it into the publishing market. People know my name now. Now I can actually tell the story I have been working on for years.
See, and I think that is the double-edged sword of the entire thing. Because I think the best adaptations and the best reimaginings and the best taking up the mantle continuations come from people who are specifically incredibly deep fanatics about the original source material. Whether in a critical way or not, they want to do it justice, or they wish that there was more representation, or, you know, or they loved this character that got sidelined that they want to bring into the spotlight, you know, whatever it is.
There was an idea that should be explored more, or a theme.
And those are the best kinds of adaptations. You can tell that the people who make Into the Spider-Verse and all of its, you know, sequels and everything really love Spider-Man, right? Yes. You can tell that versus when you see Disney adaptations
that gone into that.
But versus when you see the Disney live action adaptations, it feels like a cash grab. Yes. Yeah, the Disney lives. It feels like a cash grab. It does not feel like the people who made this loved the original source material. You see it so much with Avatar: The Last Airbender, biggest one ever. Both the movie...
Are we talking movie or Netflix?
So I'm talking about both of them. Both the live action movie and the Netflix original do not feel like the people behind this actually loved and were invested with the original source material. They just went, wow, Avatar: The Last Airbender is really fucking popular. We should, like, it's so popular, it's still going on right now. It's still happening.
A true fan of Avatar would have looked at that scene of the air nomads being massacred and had been like, what is this doing in an Avatar show?
And Sokka not being a misogynist, so he doesn't learn anything, and, you know, literally everything, right? And not being fun-loving and being serious.
How dare we show
very
growth?
much feels, and that's the same thing I feel like happened with Velma.
Learning harmful mindsets.
That's the same thing I think happened with Velma. It does not feel like the creator felt like they love Scooby-Doo and wanted to do something with it. It felt like people like Scooby-Doo.
The biggest criticism I saw with Velma is that people were saying it feels like it actively hates Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And that it's a shame to be related to Scooby-Doo.
Exactly. And that it was forced to be made Scooby-Doo, right? Versus Mystery Incorporated very much feels like people who love Scooby-Doo.
People clearly love that.
Who clearly love Scooby-Doo, rewriting it to be. I think Moriarty the Patriot is a big one. It looks like someone who very much loves Sherlock Holmes and its stories and was like, wow, I really want to explore Moriarty's character and his sort of thing in this cool way. It feels like they cared about the source material. And that's what the problem is, I think.
Audiences pick up on that.
You think Velma was rage bait? I think, if I'm being honest, I feel like whatever, I can't remember her name, the comedian's name. I feel like the comedian's name wanted to tell a story, and what was it, HBO went like, that's not gonna sell. We could probably paint a Scooby-Doo filter over this. That would sell. Yeah. And she's like, well, I guess if I have to, you know, that's what it felt like. It very much felt like, you have an original idea, but that original idea is not gonna sell. So, what is it closest to that is really, really popular? I guess it's kind of Scooby-Doo. Make it Scooby-Doo.
Well, it's got a mystery, and it's got kids. I guess we'll make it Scooby-Doo.
But I think every adaptation that has felt, at very least, majority positive reception has very much felt like a thing that was made by somebody that enjoyed the original source material. Right?
Oh, yeah. And at the end of the day,
did it.
That is what it comes down to. Because if you're going to do an adaptation, why wouldn't you do an adaptation if you cared about the original source material?
And that's what I think comes down to the sort of double-edged sword, where you were saying that some authors, some, you know, directors, actors, whatever, make their break. I mean, you see it in like the art space with making fan art only by doing what I would consider as adaptations, like fan content, right? Like overall, right? Because there is that level of connection already there, right? You already have people who know these characters, who like these characters.
Fan fiction, honestly.
No, exactly. Fan fiction, but see, and this is the difference. Fan fiction, the outliers that do go on to like make money that you hear about that are problems in their own other ways, are usually looked down upon because they feel like they've sold out. Versus when you make fan art, or when you make, fan fiction, that's the word I'm looking for. When you make fan fiction, your fan fiction still majority is fully free for other people to view. There's no cash incentive there. There's no money incentive there. Fan art, you do have a little different with the, like, you can sell merch and stuff, but it's still majority feels like the artists making it are doing it because they like it. You know, and there's so many artists talking about,
I wish merch existed of this.
You know what else is interesting? Like fan songs. Similarly. Oh, I'm glad I know what I'm talking about. Mars also knows what she's talking about. But same with like what did I just today? Amazon Music decided to give me a Kave fan song, which I was not expecting to come up on my Discovery playlist.
Send, please.
But yeah, okay, I will. Let me do it. Let me find it. But like,
excuse me, I'd like to see this.
Slight tangent. I listened to another like Has Been Hotel fan song by I think it's Black Griffin, and had like a couple other people in there that I don't remember who, but it definitely wasn't the same amount of people that they sang voices of. And they sang where it's not like obviously identical to the characters, but it was different enough where it's like I can tell that's supposed to be Charlie and that's supposed to be Husk and Angel. That was just wild. That was just a wild thing to happen. But those things, right, are not made with the intent of making money, right?
Yeah.
When you make songs like that, well, if you do get money from it, it is certainly not made with the intent of this is a cash grab, right? It's not made with the intent of, or at least the majority of the time, right? Obviously there's, people who are out there doing weird things and trying to do, but classically with the arts, right? Classically, it's very much like you're not doing it for the money, right? You're not making comics and fan art to be rich. If you can make a living off it, great. But there's a very big difference between that and Disney being like, all right, I don't know what to make. You want to turn this new one into live action? And none of the movies that could be good live action?
Oh crap, we're running out of Renaissance movies. Oh no!
How could we possibly think about turning Treasure Planet or Atlantis into live action movies? You know, the ones that are like all people or something. That would be really cool live action.
Husband was a banger.
Oh, yes. So I think that the biggest downfall of Has Been Hotel was they were only given 8 episodes to do an entire season.
Yeah, that was insane.
And I feel like, you cannot really accurately judge anything else about it because that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's difficult because every other criticism I hear about it is literally like, but they could have done that if they had more episodes. But they could have done that. Like, oh, they didn't go into the characters as much. But they only had 8 episodes, right? They only had these sort of things. What were you supposed to do?
Exactly.
And now, the songs, every song was great. I love some more than others, but you're always gonna. I do that with musicals too. I think all the songs were really good. They felt, like, musical songs. They felt like
fitting to the setting.
Yeah.
They were definitely written in a musical theater style.
Exactly.
It conveyed story through song, which is what a musical is supposed to do. I'd say it succeeded on that front.
I can see why you thought that was about Toga Mason. Let me make sure this is. I think this is the right song. No, this is the not. No. Oh, there it is. Okay, I found it. I found the Kaveh song. Yeah, I'm like listening to it, and I'm like, why are we talking about like architecture? Like this is, and then I look, and the cover art is Kaveh, and I was like, oh, okay.
Like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll make any fan songs for Kaniche. I'm in deep, guys. I saw human fan art of his little dragon companion, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Help!
Hold on, now I have to check something.
Oh, or he's going down the rabbit hole. We were talking about Alice in Wonderland earlier.
We have talked about it. Well, because I've heard this name before, and I'm curious as to where.
Well, now I'm curious because maybe I've heard of it.
Okay, it's not what I thought it was, but I definitely heard this name before. What else have they done?
And there she goes, Crash.
It's just
but
like
yeah, no,
when
honestly,
you
I do
name.
recommend Has Been Hotel. It is worth the watch. It's very good. And it's honestly just impressive that something that started out on YouTube got the funding to be a show.
Yes,
like, that is a major accomplishment.
Certainly give a level of credence to indie animation, I
wish
have
they
enjoyed.
Got more, but the fact they got anything at all is insane.
I have enjoyed the uprise in indie animation projects because of it, and the fact that, you know, barring even the fact that, you know, Has Been became quote unquote a mainstream thing, the fact that Hell of a Boss is still a YouTube thing, right, is crowdfunded, sort of.
And still going strong.
Is really meaningful because, unfortunately, animation is incredibly expensive. Horrifically expensive. And that's what's so sad about it. Yes, it is Pastry Puff. That is the song, Writing on the Wall. But yes, that is the song. I'm just listening to my, complete side tangent, but every Monday, you know, Amazon Music gives you like a discovery playlist, and the last time I listened to it, it had 4 fucking bangers that, you know, are very Outcast related to new characters and stuff. It
worked very well, I gotta say.
Yeah. And, yeah, and then so I was looking at, you know, at the last 2 times, though, I've listened to it, I'm like, nothing that I'm really feeling about. And I'm listening, and then just this song comes on. I was like, why? Like, this is a song about architecture? This is very interesting. Oh, it's coffee. Oh, it's coffee. And then it's like, oh, now I want to cry because, wow, yeah, poor man.
Wait,
this poor boy.
You found out about it through a Warrior Cats anime? Pastry Puff, how did that happen?
That's interesting. No, please.
I'm very curious the context behind that.
I have read it. Mars, have you read Built This Way New Chapter?
I still need to read it, Mason. I kind of
She had a rough couple days. Yeah.
Schedule-wise.
I'm enjoying Melvin. I will be excited to see more.
Friday off, though, so that'll be nice.
Of Melvin.
I'm hoping to catch up on a lot of things.
But,
good God.
Yeah, so it's just, my brain is dead. It's tough, right? It's very difficult to do animation, and so the fact that there are these indie projects that are basically, you know, passion projects. I mean, the fact that, like, has it taken 10 years for, you know, No Evil to still keep going, and, you know, probably would have been done in that time if it had like a full animation budget? Yeah, but it's still really cool that it's happening. And it's so right now, Rando, this is a commission that I'm really backlogged on stuff, unfortunately. So this is a D&D character for a streamed D&D live actual play.
You know?
And they're getting emojis. And I meant to have the flats done a while ago. But I had not. Ori's very behind on things. But at 10, I'm probably going to go do more comic lines because I'm also behind on that. Ori's been behind. Life has been behind, guys. Oh, God.
Somehow fall just... Oof, it fell.
Really? That's the way to put it.
Everything fell. All at once.
Yes. Oh, no. Pastry Puff, totally agree. I'm like, I feel like I could ship Addie and Sid. And then after this one, it's like, yeah, I ship Addie and Sid, man.
Am I gonna end up reading this on stream? Because now you guys are talking about it, and now I want in.
I'm sorry.
Know.
Can you show me?
Screw it. I'm reading it. I'm pulling it up.
Oh my gosh, Mars, blasphemy.
But is there anything you'd like to know about adaptations?
Yeah, any other things?
Like anyone in chat who'd like to know more? Yeah, you can rant about Sherlock Holmes podcast. Go for it.
Yeah. I am
We're
gonna
all about the rants here. Clearly, we just ranted for an hour and a half.
Well, chat does stuff and do whatever. I am going to run an ad while I go get liquids. So we're gonna do this real quick. We're gonna run an ad, and we'll be right back. All right.
All right. After these commercial messages.
I've returned with not only water, but surprise tea.
Oh, very nice.
No, that's not it. Ah! Okay. Wrong overlays. I brought it back. Okay, can we do this fast? Let's hope.
Let's see.
I don't even know what I'm working tomorrow.
I know exactly what I'm working tomorrow.
I don't get a schedule like you. Ooh, people are... I've been posting on Instagram threads, and people are liking threads. So
nice.
That's cool.
Okay, maybe that's worth it.
Ooh, I have a permit at
I get my
9.
Thursday post ready.
Nice. We like this. We like this. We
at
like
9
this.
a.m.
Like
That's
this.
quite lovely.
Yep, and I already have permits extra, so we're Gucci. I can just go late. Nice.
Woohoo!
Mm-hmm.
And my first
Wahoo,
assignment
dude.
doesn't start until 9:30, so I get to sleep in a little bit too.
Nice.
Which is nice. I actually told my mom when I got home today, Mom, Thursday and Friday, I am not getting up until the time of what would be my first appointment. Because that's the only way to feel like you have a true day off, is if you sleep until the time you would have had to be somewhere.
I don't know.
This is a life hack, guys. This is a life hack, guys.
It's Mars's life hack for y'all.
It feels like a day off when you sleep in till the time you were supposed to be somewhere.
Oh, this
Which
is
is
a
pretty
weird
well
road.
if you need to be somewhere by 8 a.m. Because then you're just like, okay, I'll stay in bed till 8 a.m. and then I get my day started. I got so much to
Yep.
do.
Bless you.
Thank you. So many of my kids have been out with the flu.
Uh-oh.
I'm just like, maybe I should get the flu shot this weekend.
Yeah, really.
Oopsies. I never know when to get it because, like, I hear one thing and then my doctor tells me, no, wait till the winter season. That's when it'll really hit. And I'm like, okay, but if I get it early, like, it's been in my body, like the antibodies. So
the reason
why would I wait?
So the reason most of the time they tell you to wait is because it's a guess. We don't. The flu is a wide variety of things. It's not just one. You know, unlike chickenpox or mumps or measles or other stuff. So it's literally like we think these strains are gonna be big this year, and sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. But the later, you know, it is, the more they know what's happening is the thought process. So.
Oh, is that what they're doing? Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, you received a summons.
Oh, I've summoned.
You've been summoned by Mason.
What message?
I'm going to read what Pastry Puff said about this podcast. I gotta be honest, guys. I haven't been listening to too many podcasts since the original The Adventure Zone. And God, I want to get back into podcasts again, but I need something short. Because apparently I just cannot do an hour anymore for some reason. Don't ask.
I find I really go in and out of it, and I gotta say, my life is not
like I'm in a dry spell right now. There are some days where I'm like, it's like with Webtoon too. Like there will be times where I will not touch the app for weeks, and then one specific day, no rhyme or reason, it's suddenly I'm going to binge 60 plus episodes. I don't know where that came from. It just happened.
No, Mason, I asked where was it? Message in Discord or I was looking to see if you responded.
Ooh.
Something else.
Oh, that's almost like one of those old radio shows. That's really cool, Pastry Puff.
Did you DM me? I don't have a DM.
It captures that vibe.
Oh, above the rant. Hold on, let's see. The nature of their relationship is up to interpretation. Ooh. All right. Well, I'm shipping it then.
Either the characters. That's
I'm shipping it then.
Really, really cool. That's really awesome, Pastry Puff.
I think that can be done well when it's done with intention to be that way, you know? Why is this happening? Okay.
Why is what happening?
I don't know. Okay? It just was being weird. I don't think it's too overtly gay. I think it's definitely like... I feel like it's more obvious than people try to tell me about Outcast.
I'm gonna have to look.
I thought you were reading it.
You're talking about gay and shoulder touch. I gotta look.
It's a hand touch. It's even deeper.
Ooh.
Oh, excuse me. I feel like it's certainly more overtly gay than anything I've ever done in Outcast, but maybe I'm just biased. But I don't feel like it's like, oh my god, it's in your face, you know? Because I do think that characters have blushed for less, you know?
Oh, definitely. 100%.
And unrelated. Because she's also like, Sid is also just, you know, an awkward little bean. And so I feel like anyone touching Sid's hand could be interpreted as like a moment of, ah. And it doesn't have to be gay. We can just want it to be gay.
Oh,
we're gay here.
Show you vibes. I'm here for it.
Let's go here.
Oh, I see the hand touch.
Yeah. And then a little blush.
Oh, no blushy blush.
Mm-hmm. So on a scale of 1 to 10, Mars, how overtly gay is that?
God, this is where the ace is gonna come through, because I'm reading it as she's struggling to talk. She's like, she's nervous, and then reassuring hand touch to ground her. Like,
oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna give 6.5.
That's pretty gay. That's pretty gay.
I feel like you gotta hit a 8 or a 7.
What? Okay,
Like,
hold the phone.
possibility
Mars. Okay, I understand that in normal 1 to 10 scales, 5 is the median. But this is a scale from straight at 1 to gay at 10. You are over halfway gay, Mars.
Okay, then if that's the case, if that's the scale, maybe 4.5.
What? Okay. Still pretty gay, but 2.
Still pretty gay.
2. I'm very curious now. In your scale of if 5 is straight and 10 is gay, what is 1? Like,
okay, guys, here's the problem. My job makes me work in percentages. And I gotta be honest, most of the time I'm labeling things as a 50 because
but there's a difference.
Nature of the job.
Yeah.
So
but difference is average.
Is
no,
fucked,
but I guess arrow. I guess arrow. Yeah, I guess arrow ace is 1.
Pastry puff on that one. I like that interpretation.
But I don't know if that scale necessarily works.
Pastry puff is a 2 ace then? Is a 3 ace? Like, how does that work? How do we
because I feel like you can't say that the opposite.
I feel like if you go from 1, then you got like the arrow but no ace, and then the ace but no arrow, like somewhere in there.
Forget about that even, right? Forget about that. I'm just saying, obviously, arrow is the opposite of romantic, but the romantic can be gay or straight. Or, bi is the middle, right? Pan is the middle, whatever you want it to be, right? Like that's the opposite. But I would have to say that straight and gay, you've already added it is romantic. You know what I'm saying? By positing this sexual, by positing this at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have context.
Yeah. I know, Pastry Puff. We're getting into it. I was gonna say something else. Oh, I felt very ace today. So I was really upset. So do you guys know the song I am a fish inside a bird cage? It was like popular for a while.
No.
There's a bunch of animatics on it. Okay,
no,
and it's
I
like
don't.
It's called Fish Inside a Birdcage, and it's by a person whose name is Fish Inside a Birdcage. Okay, that is their like artist title. And apparently on my yes, there you go, Pastry Puff, you know it. I knew you'd be on the up enough, Pastry Puff. Mars is a little fuddy-duddy now, not knowing that stuff. I don't know.
Hey, wow. Ori's just coming for me tonight, you guys. What did I do?
You didn't know all these songs, Mars. No,
Not.
Yes, Pastry Puff, and that's I mean, that's basically all the music I listen to. But the point
that's
is,
all the Outcast songs.
honestly, song really also vibing with is the like she was a bird, I was an arrow, both of us sure, the sword and the sparrow. You should listen to that one, Mars. You would like that one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good shit.
What's the name of it?
I don't. Bird and arrow, you'll probably find it. I don't even know.
Wow,
Bird
you claim
and
to like it, but
arrow
you don't even
song.
know the name.
Yeah, when you learn about it from animatics and stuff. It's called The Bird and the Arrow, I believe. The Bird Song?
Okay.
I don't know, actually. It's by Noah Flourish.
Okay.
Flourish.
I can work with this.
Noah Flourish. It's called The Bird Song by Noah Floersch.
Okay, I found it.
Okay.
Saving
It's interesting.
It to watch later.
It gives me possible, like, honestly, it's not something that would happen in our comic, but it gives me, like, if we were going to kill somebody in our comic vibes. You'll see when you get there. But,
guys, Ori said she didn't want characters
I
to
don't
die
want
or
it to
be
happen.
brutally maimed.
We talked about this
And here she is
fan fiction, Mars.
I found this song.
I couldn't do it.
The character dying. I'm like, Ori.
No, don't. I
agreed.
don't think I could draw it, Mars. We can't get there.
I don't think you could even draw a limp hand on the ground.
It would be
too
so sad.
heart-wrenching.
I do think there are some characters that I could do.
Nathan, I really
but
like
not-
the
not everybody.
interactions between the characters. I'm getting a feel for their personalities. It's really fun.
But point is, the Fish Inside a Birdcage person apparently also made a song that is called Rule 34, which is certainly a name. And
Of a name, yeah.
it's certainly a name. And so I saw that name and I was like, oh, interesting. And I'm very upset. Because my ace ass, I really, really like the music. Like the sound. No. I know what Rule 34 is, and it's honestly very explicit. Okay, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
What I'm saying that I'm upset about is the fact that I like the instrumental part, like the beat, like the this sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But the lyrics make me personally uncomfortable. And I'm like, listen to this. And I was like, I want to put this on my playlist. I really do. But I can't do it.
Ace will not let me.
It's like, and it's just, I don't know. It's like one of those things where it's like logically it doesn't make sense why this song in particular is making me uncomfy, but I don't know, the like vibe dynamic of the whole thing just feels more off than when it's done in like other media. And I'm just sitting there and just like, this one feels wrong, and versus other ones are like, ooh yeah, you over there in the corner, and I'm just like, look, I don't know.
It's always the most sexual songs that have the best beat. Which is
but it's like I can deal with a lot of like pop songs that like are very based around sex and not be like, this is uncomfortable. And it's just like the dynamic that they're it gives very like it gave very like, I don't know, I don't want to make this comparison because I'm not saying it's bad, right? Like I definitely feel like I'm just very ace, and like you have to have like certain layers there in order to be like, yes, we can deal with this one. But it gives very like 50 Shades of Grey being like, oh, this is like supposed to be like representation in heavy quotation marks for like the BDSM community, and the BDSM community being like, no, it's fucking not. What is this absolute like, shit power dynamic fuckery? This is toxic, right? And so it very much feels like there's a dynamic here that is like can be done good, but I'm not feeling it in this song. And I'm just like, no, I can't do it. Couldn't do it.
Oh man, I gotta listen to the song now. I gotta know what skeeved you out so much.
I'm gonna look up the lyrics to like remind myself if I'm just being crazy or not. I was driving like on a bridge and like doing whatever.
Being crazy.
I'm just so curious.
I don't think you're being crazy. I do believe you that it was that. Because
it's very much like a. Yeah, no, I'm reading,
Okay, that tells me
this is the problem. There's like one section.
Okay, I'm gonna look up the lyrics. What's it called?
It's literally called Rule number 34 with the number sign. So Rule 34 with the number sign by Fish in a Birdcage. Okay, and it's like, first chorus,
Okay.
I'm sorry, first verse, second verse is like, this could be cool vampire shit. And then third verse, I'm just like, I don't know.
Wow.
I just, like, with the core, I don't know. It's like, it's the way it's like the beat with the whole thing is just very like, I understand what we're going for. And I feel that I'm just both very, very queer and very ace and very, very, very not the dynamic that this is for. And it makes me uncomfortable.
I was on board for vampire shit leading up to it, but by the time you get to the third verse, I gotta say though, I think I would have been able to make it through if the lyrics "good girl" wasn't in there, because that just gives me the ick.
That hurts.
That just gives me the ick.
It just, I don't, and it's just the way it's like, you know, because there's like the beat is like nice. I'm like here for it. Mm-hmm. It gives very like, I really like the kind of like, is
it
like, giving
Teeth vibes?
No, it gave me, and
that's
now
the closest song that this looks like it could fit to.
No, it had more of like a, my brain is like a retro like jazz cantina vibe, if you understand at all the brain. Like, so, you know, I really like that song Killer by the Ready Set. I love that sound.
That's a good one.
That, but make it dark and moody. And it's like, this is good shit. I'm here for this good shit. And I'm upset that I can't listen to this song because it really just, and I think I'm just really too queer. I really think I'm just way too queer because this song very much feels like straight vanilla fantasy. Like, I can't do this. I can't do this. This is cringe. This is cringe. Yeah, it hurt me.
That's interesting.
It hurt me.
I'm gonna listen to this song, and I may have regrets.
Okay, are you listening to it right now?
I'm listen to it. Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna listen to it live. You guys are gonna hear the live reaction.
Goodness.
94. Fish in a Birdcage. This was the first one to come up too.
Yeah. I am, Mason, because Ace is a broad spectrum of a label.
Video. All right, and sure, let's go.
It gets complicated very fast. And I don't even understand it. I'm just a person, and I know that the person I am
just wish we could exist without
is
labels.
very, very has to be not your normal person. Because I will say, just the lived
cello. I am here for
cello.
Yeah,
the cello, right? No, I know, Mason. I know.
Good.
It's a very complicated, you know, label. I am engaged to a man, and it honestly gives me a lot of privilege in life. I will say I am privileged in the sense that my relationship is incredibly straight passing. Life would certainly be more difficult if I was not so lucky to be perceived by the outside world.
Cantina.
Yeah, but you feel what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
It's like not.
It's not bad yet.
No. It's just
I feel like it's like a bomb. You're waiting for it to go off.
It was very much just like, I really like the song, but the lyrics just make me a little, and then I was like, okay, it's like, okay, we're okay. I like the song. Ooh, vampire time. And then it's like, oh, but no, I can't do this last part. I can't do this last part.
It's definitely not vampire time.
Yeah, so I'm definitely not Arrow Mason, so I definitely have a romantic attraction. But if I'm being honest, it very much feels like Dylan is my person, and that's it, because everything else it's just nebulous out there in the world. I found my person, and I'm very lucky to have done so. But I really think in like my life personally that if I hadn't found Dylan, I'd probably just still be living with my parents and be, you know, a perfectly happy person doing so, you know? So it's just like, I got lucky. I got very lucky.
Oh, we got to the
right? Right, it's just not it. girl.
Yeah.
I just can't get past it.
We were doing okay.
It was okay.
And then
it was okay.
One verse just goes too.
But it's just it just taints the rest of it. It just like that last verse just taints the rest of it.
Yeah, that one's
just
rough.
Taints the rest of it for me. And I gotta tell you, I think it's just the queerness. I really do. Because it very explicitly is very straight vanilla fantasy.
Yeah. It
Wild.
is the musical version of porn.
It's not. It's also. It's like not that explicit. It's definitely like implicit. But
it's painting.
But you know. But it's also then called Rule 34. So you go into it knowing what's versus like difference, right? Watermelon Sugar. Also, you know, about sexual things, as way too many songs are, but it's not blatant. You sort of have to be like told that, at least in my ass opinion.
One of the funniest genres of music is the song that's so sexual in nature, but they did such a good job of hiding it that the song gets played at kids' birthdays parties.
Ooh, yeah.
But I think of two songs that follow that trend: Whistle and Cake by the Ocean.
Oh, yeah.
We're paying attention to those damn lyrics, and they got played at every kid's birthday party I ever went to.
Yep.
I was like, damn, you did such a good job of hiding how horny you are.
Yeah, really. But like, at least that's like an art form. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least that's like an art form. Because it's very much, it's like this kid's show has like dirty jokes in it, and it's like you only get them if you get them, you know, so it's not a problem. But it's like, no, this is called Rule 34. You know what it's about. Going into it, there's nothing else that it could be going into it. You don't watch hentai, you read hentai? I mean, you know?
Its intended audience. And we are not the intended audience.
No, and it makes me upset. Because the actual
version
exactly. The actual instruments really good. But I'm like driving and I'm like, do I skip this or do I let it play? I don't know.
Well, considering you were near the end of the song anyhow, I just let it go.
Well, I was driving, so I didn't know how many verses there were. You know, I couldn't tell if there was more or not.
How long am I in this?
Yeah, and then it ended, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, I guess that's not going on my playlist, sadly. But yeah.
That's the worst, where you're just at the mercy of your playlist, and you're like, I'm driving, I can't change
Well, it's like, the options are skip or go back. Those are the options.
Oof.
But
the struggle is very real.
So it's just very, very upsetting. Not very upsetting. I don't mean to blow it out of proportion. It's just not for me. And there's certain songs where it's like, this is just not.
If it's your vibe, more power to you.
Yeah. I am certainly not trying to diss it. I don't think it's problematic or anything, you know, but it's definitely just like, oh, I really liked this song, but the lyrics really matter to me, and this ain't it, chief.
See, it's interesting. There are some songs where I can ignore the lyrics, and then there are others where I just can't. And I wonder what the psychology behind that is. Like, what is winning me over about the other songs that's not winning me over with this one other song?
Can you give an example of a song that you can, quote unquote, ignore the lyrics to? Because I will say the most songs that I could have, quote unquote, ignored the lyrics to were songs where my ass didn't get it. You know? And now it's like when you do get it, it's like, this song is still good, but like maybe I won't sing the really wonky parts.
Maybe I'll stop belting this out loud. Oopsies.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Are you putting that out for a song you can ignore the lyrics for, Mason? Is it in another language? See, it's in another language.
That's the secret. Don't have to ignore the lyrics if you don't know what they're saying.
Yeah. If you
That's
can't
the
tell,
secret,
that's
Cap.
like, oh, see, Despacito also played at way too many like young events. Really explicit.
Yeah.
Really
More
explicit
than you'd expect.
Yeah, but I feel like Mason, the second it's in another language, you have like this barrier, you know, to like feeling it.
It acts as a buffer.
It acts as a buffer
like,
because
okay,
also
maybe I remember what these lyrics translate to,
but also
it's also like you're safe.
But yeah, but there's also like I may know what the lyrics mean. There's a very small chance that other English speakers around me know what the lyrics mean. So it doesn't matter.
Haha. The secret.
The secret indeed. And honestly, that's why I feel like I listen to like a lot of more alt music, because a lot of it, well, is still like easily translated into like, oh, this is like
they talk about other things.
Well, they talk about other things, and I will say a lot of it can be like, oh yeah, this was like about a romantic partner or something. It doesn't have to be, and it's not always about the actual sex part, and it's a lot more about the like relationship. They betrayed me, and I'm emo, and I break up now, and I'm mad at you, and people lie and stuff.
Angry love song. Oh, this is perfect for banding.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that one, Mason. Yep. Hello. Oh, it has been a while. How you been?
Oh. Hello. Welcome.
Hope you've been doing all right. Hope life's going well.
Yes. How has your fall been treating you? Because
oh God,
ours kind of fell.
Mars just really likes that thing that she just did with the wordplay. She's gonna keep doing it.
I'm gonna keep doing it because you laughed so hard at the earlier
one. Ooh,
so.
Art merch for booths. Have you been going to conventions and stuff? Have you done
really
conventions
cool.
before? We just another community chatter, Nicole just did a convention last week, I think.
Yeah. And I think
very cool.
She was handing out cards.
Yeah, there's like cards and prints and stuff. Convention selling merch.
Amazing,
Mallow. Oh. Mallow, have you done this before, or is this your first year doing this? I'm so curious. I want to go to conventions and sell merch. That's my goal for 2025. Yeah, I really tried to this year, but I was really annoyed. The convention that I really wanted to table at, they were like, we don't have the spots like ready to be claimed now, but we'll put you on our email list and we'll let you know when they open, and they never let me know. So I was really annoyed about that. But so this year it's like, no, I'm going to be proactive about it. And we learned about some other conventions, so I'm gonna try and do those too.
So many cool ones.
Yeah, we learned about like literally
very close to home, which is so nice.
Which we really enjoyed going to. That was the one I wanted to sell at,
was so good.
And so it was very nice.
I'm so glad that one was like a real winner.
It was so good.
First year, congratulations!
Nice. At least as you're at least breaking even, that's pretty great. How many have you been to, and how many more do you have?
I'm so curious. What merch are you selling?
I'm sorry if we're asking too many questions. We're just so curious. This is so cool.
We're just excited.
It's like a whole nother niche.
Break out ourselves.
That's my goal next year. At least one.
And then one day we can sell merch of the Outcast Boys.
Well, ideally, we would be doing it then too, but you know.
That would be amazing.
3 and 3 more.
Dang,
nice.
You're doing 6 in a single year.
Are they? Can I ask, like, how close they are to home? Are you doing a lot close, or have you been traveling far and wide?
These, like, travel ones?
Yeah, I'm just so curious.
I gotta ask, have you been to the big ones?
Ooh, VTubers, nice. D&D stickers?
D&D stickers.
Are you doing like a lot of prints, like a lot of stickers, keychains? I don't know what kind of. There's a lot of kinds of merch.
Keychains, pins, stickers. I see some people do patches.
Ooh. That could be something I could get into. Postcards. I do have an embroidery machine, and I want to learn the Inkscape, embroidery software. So I would probably be doing it for our varsity jackets, Mars. That's what I gotta do. Ooh, I gotta order the varsity jacket pattern because this weekend we're going to the fabric store, and I gotta get fabric because I want to make Sheng Xiaoshi's varsity jacket.
Oh, I gotta see that when you're done.
Oh yeah.
Also, if you do finish
of course.
It, one day when we hang out, I'll dress up as Lu Guang.
All right, deal. I am gonna finish it because I want to do it as my first trial before I design the varsity jacket.
You got this. Wish you every luck. Ooh, that's nice, Mallow.
Ooh, nice. I guess you live in a smaller country, Matt, because definitely when we're in the U.S., so it's like, well, it's like, oh yes, staying in the country could mean flying for multiple hours. So it's like, even staying in our own state.
You change time stones.
Yeah, even staying in our own state can be like, oh yes, drive for 6 to 8 hours to go. Honestly, it's closer to go to cons in other states than go to only the conventions in our own state. So, but that's cool. Now, I think doing ones close to home is good. Ooh, let's go look at the stickers.
Ooh, I want to see.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Are you gonna put words on them, or are they
these are so
gonna be left
cool.
blank for stuff? Oh, I love. We got wizard, and I'm guessing fighter and paladin and rogue. Oh, the rogue is great. Top 2 stuff.
I friggin' love the paladin.
Yeah, Valo.
The highlights and shadows are beautiful.
You draw armor so well, Mallow. The shine. I'm envious of the shine. Got them all right. Look at you. You did a good job then. If I got them right, you did a great job. You hit the nail on the head. I will say, I'm very impressed with the like the differentiation between the paladin and the fighter, because that can be very difficult because they have like 2 distinct vibes, but you did a really good job. Yeah. They were obviously really fighter and paladin. So good. So good.
God, I can't get over the highlighting. It's so sleek.
No, it's so good. Very, very good.
Amazing.
But yeah, Mallow, it's always funny because being in the United States, being in like your state is like its own country size-wise most of the time.
Yeah.
So it's very funny. It's actually like going to 2 of the neighboring states would probably be closer for conventions than us going to certain conventions in our other areas of our state.
Honestly.
Though maybe I'm gonna try to apply to a bunch, Mars. I'm gonna look into a few that are like day trips, and
I wish you the best of luck. I'm accruing PTO.
Oh yeah,
it can be used.
Well, I don't even think we'd need that. The majority of them are like Saturday. I would probably be going mostly for Saturday, Sunday ones, and then just doing that, so it wouldn't be like we'd have to stay over anywhere or do anything. I'm not trying to go that far yet. Hotels, that's a future thing. If we have fun and we do good, I mean, hell yeah, why wouldn't we,
Well, I know Dragon Con.
That's like a big bucket list thing.
It just looks so fun.
I will admit, I'm okay. I have the what was it called? There was a meme, and I'm trying to remember what it was called. I have gay audacity or whatever it is, and it's where it's like I think that I can do everything.
Like, I think I can do everything with little knowledge, background, or talent.
That right. I have the queer audacity, and it's very much it's like very much it's like if I don't go all out at a convention, why am I going to a convention, right? So it's like hard to rein myself in, right? Because it's like, oh, you should focus on going to the convention to sell the merch to table. But it's like, but if I don't have some sort of cosplay, what's the point? And it's like, Ori, that's ridiculous. And it's like Ori, I'm
not just gonna go as me.
Yeah,
why would
I'm not just gonna go as me. And then it's also like, it's like, well, I gotta be cool. You know, I gotta be cool, right? And then it's like, also it's like, but then Ori, it's not comfortable to go as an entire character, so you need to make the cosplay you want to play because you don't want to be literally the character. So it's just like a whole... I very much have the queer audacity.
The Lion, the Witch, and the audacity of this
I totally feel that, Mallow. That's what I would like to do. It's like, it'll be cool if, you know, to break even or have profits, but it's definitely like, I just want to be tabling at a convention. It's just, it sounds really cool. Same with like, I'm also, it's like, I think it would be cool to go to a furry convention, but if I'm not like with a fursuiter or like do it, it's like, why go? And it's like, unless I'd ever go, you know? And so it's just like, there's pain. I'm very much
so many things
do it 100% or not at all.
So cool.
And it's like, but you can't do all the things you want to do 100%, Ori. It's just not possible. So compromise. And it's like, if I compromise, I've lost. I failed.
God, that's such a mood. My mom the other day was like, you know, you're doing a lot. You have this new job. You got this, and you seem so tired. Why don't you cut back on the streaming? I'm like, no, I will do it all. I will do the comic. I will do the fanzines. I will do the work. I will do everything.
Yeah.
Is my brain going to explode? Maybe. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
It's all worth it in the end.
Yeah. At some point, I think my parents were like, I can't remember if it was both my parents or just one of my parents, but I was like, oh yeah, like the YouTube's making money now. Like that's just a really cool thing. And they're like, oh, so are you going to stop doing the comic? And it's like, what? No. And they're like, because like the YouTube's making money, not the comic. I was like, this was not a race to see what made money first. You know, honestly, the YouTube is more like a side effect than the comic, if I'm being it's like a whole weird thing. Yeah, exactly, Mallow. It's such a hard balance to achieve because it's like
it really is.
I'm only, besides like my actual job that needs to pay the bills, and I know Mars like at least went into this field because she enjoys it, her field, you know, because she enjoys it. It's definitely like I don't want to give anything up because none of it is like doing it because you don't want to do it, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's like, wow, I might complain about how much I have to edit the videos, and there's parts of video editing that are very like, I'm so dead and I don't want to have to edit videos, but I want the videos to exist, and the only way to make the videos exist is if I do it, so you have to do it, and it's like a pain. You know, I can see that with like the convention. It's definitely like, oh god, you have to do all this work in order to like get all the merchant stuff, but you want to sell stuff at a convention, so you have to do the work, and it's just like, oh, crazy. There is, you know, the life balance thing, and the problem is it never settles down.
We're still figuring it out.
I have the
it will not settle down until I retire.
I have the infinite time filling glitch, which is unfortunately that even though somehow I make time, it never feels like even if you cut back on something, it's like, but I didn't actually get that time. Like, where did that time go?
You didn't
though?
get that time
I was
back.
supposed to get time back. I stopped doing a thing. Where is the time back? And it's like, no.
Now you just have time for the other things that are still waiting.
But it's like, I was doing everything.
Can't win.
And now it's like, but I stopped doing the thing. Where'd the time go? It's like, oh God.
Like, hi, universe, time, please, just a quick check-in, please.
Yeah. Can you calculate where the time went?
No, sorry. Try again later.
Well, yeah, so it's very much like, right now I've definitely had to shuffle around the things that are happening, the priorities.
Oh, yes. The shuffles have been happening.
Yeah. Oh, that's not what I need to do.
But everything is going to get done this week. And then we can enjoy Saturday, and it'll be a nice reward after everything.
Yes.
We can do it.
We can do it.
PCM, hello.
Hello, PCM. We could watch the last 2 episodes of Twilight Out of Focus for me. And
I want to see your reaction.
watch Samu Mako.
I want to see your reaction so bad. Guys, I have realized the benefit to watching ahead of Ori and then meeting up in person to watch again, because like, oh, now I get to see how she reacts and I know what's going to happen.
Have you watched any more Samu Mako? Because I have not.
No.
Okay.
No.
So let's just not. And
yeah, we're out of time this week.
Yeah.
I need to prioritize actually doing shit. I gotta finish coloring that entry.
Yep.
I gotta do the zine submission.
Yep.
I gotta.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna be a little behind on the comic, and I've accepted it. Because I gotta do these commissions and the zine next. However, I still need those colors in because I will be working on that, because that's more important than the lines of the later entries, because at least there's technically time for those.
The colors in are happening. Colors in are happening.
Good.
Because it's like, okay, and I can make good use of them.
The priority of finishing page 1 takes over, doing all the lines and stuff of page 7, because we need that for the hiatus.
Coming out sooner than the other.
Yeah, by a lot. And so it's like I can technically have the time. I didn't want to have to do it this way, but I can technically have the time if needed, versus the other way around. You can't. What? Nope. Nope art.
Nope art.
Oh, but Mallow, are you gonna do are you gonna do stickers like this for every class, or this is the plan for right now? These 4.
Oh, I have no idea for this one.
Oh.
Pass.
Yes.
Sorry.
Each collection was made. Okay. Modern consoles.
This is so cool, PCM.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do this.
Oh, I love the sketchy vibe here.
Right.
Oh, that's so cool. Ori, you gotta see this.
Ooh.
This looks like a wanted poster.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like a wanted poster, which is pretty epic.
Adore this.
Nice.
She looks like such a badass.
She does look like a badass.
I love the rope and skull ornaments. Those are
We've
incredible.
definitely gone from Noof is like goofy anxiety to Noof is a badass with swords. I will say, all the classes, nice, Mallow.
Has stepped into her
You'll
own.
definitely have to show us
She's become
those.
a confident young lady, and we're so proud of her.
Yeah, that's the vibe.
She's kicking names and taking ass. Look at her go.
Oh, she has. Does she have 1 extra set? Is that the problem? She has 1 set of too many. All the noops have not enough eyes because they're the other thing.
They're constantly in flux.
Yeah.
She's
at the latter end of the story.
We love to see it. We love to see it. So proud of her.
So try to find any art of the noob that's not Hero Forge to find how many eyes. Ah, I see,
Oh,
I
I
see.
see.
Okay,
Honestly, if you
yeah, I
didn't point
see.
it out, I never would have noticed.
Nope, I see it.
This is fire.
And the pose is great, epic. What was I doing? I was in here for something. Oh, I was trying to answer the
I don't know.
trivia. I was trying to answer the trivia.
Okay, you answer the
Games.
trivia. I got no ideas. I got nothing.
In which order had each collection made imported? All right, so we have. Which I didn't realize. And then we had. And then we had. I may get this wrong because of this one. No, this happened after that. So we have this one. This one. Wait, so we have to do when they came out originally? No, I'm gonna do it this way.
I think that's correct.
Pastry Puff, are you in chat? Do I have to name them when they originally came out and then when they were ported, or do I have to name just when they were ported to modern consoles?
Ori being over here like, can I phone for help?
Yeah, I'm not asking for help. I'm just making sure I answer the whole question, because half the time I only answer half the question. The order in which Capcom released the port. Okay, cool.
Let's see if you get it right,
That's
Ori.
my answer. Fingers crossed.
I'm not answering this one. Nice! Go, Ori!
Success! I'm proud of myself for that one.
Well played.
I think you did PCM, but you do a lot of Hero Forge, so it's way past scrolling. But yes, I see what you're saying. She's got to have them eyebrows. She needs them eyebrows.
Yes. The eyebrows help tell her expressions, see?
Yeah.
And just look at Hotsun's eyebrows.
Yeah, well, it was something, I think it was Critbit, the course that I'm taking, and it was like, they say eyes are the windows to the souls, but they really mean the eyebrows. It's like, you know what? That makes a lot of sense.
Though.
Like caterpillars.
That's where all the expression is.
Yeah, the eyes don't do a lot. The eyebrows do it all.
They work together. They work in tandem with each other. That's
it's like, there's some people who don't have eyebrows. And it's like, yeah, but the skin area where, like, the muscles move. So there's still, like, in a real person, like, the ghosts of eyebrows, I guess, if that makes sense. Because there's, like, a little muscle mass there that you're moving up and down, So it's like, even without the physical...
It's like a little bump.
Yeah, so even without the physical, like, hair...
Brow, that's the name.
What?
Isn't it the brow?
Oh, that's like the brow bone. Yeah, but you're not moving the bone. I don't know. It's confusing. Life is tough.
I am like, I'm going up and down with my eyebrows to see if my bone is moving.
The bone is not moving. The skin and the muscle mass is moving. But it's not the bone itself. You can't move your brow bone is fused as part of your skull, Mars. Your skull is not moving up and down.
Apparently people have typed into Google search, does the brow bone stop growing? Like, where are these people looking up?
Well, it's because certain parts of your body as you age continue to grow. That's why old people characteristically have longer noses and earlobes. Because they just keep growing for some reason. And your knuckles grow as you age. Your knuckles grow. Yeah. It's just a weird cartilage thing.
Cartilage is weird.
Cartilage is weird.
Oh, every bone in my body just popped. That's fun.
No, you can't be old yet.
Ugh.
My cousin just had his birthday today. He's aged now.
Oh, happy birthday to him.
Yeah, we joked about how he's old now. Even though we're older than him.
The threshold or not yet?
No, not yet. He's crossed one threshold, not the next one, if that makes sense.
Okay. We're still waiting on that.
Yeah, we're still waiting on that one. I think for both of them. For both of them, significantly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting how young they are.
Yeah, the one's only just in their second year of college now, so that's like 4th year of college things.
God damn.
Yeah. I think technically that might be 2nd semester of 3rd year for them, because they have an early birthday.
Oh, okay.
For me, it was 1st semester of 4th year. No, math is hard.
Math is very hard.
Yeah, it would have been 1st semester of 4th year for me. Beginning my 4th year of college would have made me 21. But for them, it would be their last semester, their 2nd semester of 3rd year of college, because they have an early birthday.
Mine was 4th year, 1st semester.
Yeah, like me. So theirs would be 3rd year, 2nd semester.
Oh, damn. That's crazy.
It is crazy. All right. I'm going to do comic lines for a little bit at the end, even though I didn't get as much done as I wanted to on this. I would like to work on the comic so I don't feel like a loser.
Oh, you're not a loser.
I'm a freak.
Loser,
baby, a loser. Goddamn, baby.
You're a fucked up little whiny bitch. You're a loser just
like me. I mean, I'm nearly done, so, like, I want to finish it.
You're pretty on track.
I have 2 away. No, I'm behind because really I should be doing the sketches of the next one and be halfway done with them, which I'm not.
It's okay.
Is it okay?
Posted more noops. Thank you, PCM.
Yeah, and I'm posting whips. Oh, we have business meeting tomorrow where we start our journey in social media promotion.
Yes.
Oh, good night, Mason.
God help us all. Good night, Mason.
She just, she stops being anxious when she goes epic mode, you know? The swords are her comfort item.
God, I love everyone in the general chat of the Dungeon Meshi.
I'm never in the general chat.
I'm in the general because, like, that's where I told everyone, like, it's gonna be right Friday, I promise. But it does make me feel better that everyone else is like, hi, it'll be in this week. I'm so sorry. Life's a bitch.
Yeah. I mean, I have a whip. I don't want it to be, like, I want it to be more done than it is. You know what I'm saying?
Same.
I don't.
Like, I got a whip, but I'm like, I don't want to give this to them.
It's not even that. It's more just like, I posted a whip recently, and it hasn't changed really since that one, and I'd like to line it.
We shot ourselves in the foot. We were like, ooh, check out this whip, guys. And it's like, shit, I haven't done anything since then. Fuck.
Yeah, nah, it's okay. Technically, I have, actually, because I drew on my iPad, like, the cake and stuff, refined it a little bit, so...
There you go.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I would do it for making time. But then I'm like, no, I don't want to do it for making time. I want to actually, like, finish this course so we could do other making time and stuff. And it's just like, there's so many things. And that's why the comic has kind of been
immortal.
Yeah, really. And that's why the comic has kind of been on a little of the back end. Sorry, babies. I'm sorry.
But we're still thinking about them, and we still adore them and love them with our whole hearts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was drawing Hotes in Dragon AU earlier, but it wasn't for the comic. It's for Thursday's art, because I need art for Thursday.
Is it as spicy as the last one you sent me?
It has certain vibes. Here, I'll go get it. Give me 1 second. Mars, entertain.
Get it. Ori has to go pull it out of the secret drawer. Nobody peek. It must be safe. Your second untraumatized character, PCM, that's gotta be a record. I'm so proud.
That's real growth, PCM.
No. PCM? No. No. Yeah, I thought so.
It's a really big whip. You'll have to trust the process a little bit.
I'm okay with that. Ori, when it comes to you, I always trust the process.
I
have seen the process. I know the process. I'm friends with the process. I trust the process.
We're gonna do this one. This one feels better.
Like, guys, Ori and I would not be making a comic together if we didn't trust each other's processes. Because Ori sometimes sees the shit I write, and it's like, just give it time. It'll all come together, I promise. I know it looks like mad ramblings now, but I swear it'll look like something by the end. Ooh, okay. Oh.
Yeah. So we have to trust the process, because I was trying to sketch it a little deeper, and I was like, Hotson's expression needs work. We'll have to figure it out.
What are we doing in this top right corner here? What's happening there?
Top right, I probably won't flesh out. It's more the other three. You know, you got a vibe, but that's the trust the process one.
I know. I think I see some pampering going on. Hotson's one lucky guy. Maybe. I don't know. Is he having fun with this? I like to think he is.
Oh yeah. We only draw him having fun. I wouldn't do that to him. He has enough of a bad time. He doesn't need to have a bad time here, okay? In non-canon universe. Well, he also has a bad time in like Band AU and stuff. Like, he has a bad time in a lot of what?
Top right corner. I thought it was something else entirely.
Like... no. You're squeeing too much. I can't hear you.
That top right corner one.
Yeah.
It looked like something we joked about a lot. And I'm like, there's no fucking way she drew that. I zoomed in and I was like, okay, I know the color scheme. I know the assigned colors. That's definitely not what's happening here.
Yes, it's not what's happening. Yeah, he does have a bad time everywhere, Pastry Puff. It gets better after it gets worse, but you know.
Be happy.
He gets a happy ending.
It, though.
Yeah, he's got to
earn it though. He can't be.
He's got to grow, change, take accountability. But he does. He just gets real bad. He has a bad time.
It's always gotta get worse before it gets better.
You'll get more of an idea about his previous bad time when you meet characters.
Oof, so much bad times.
Yeah. Yes.
Poor little guy.
Yeah, so, you know, he deserves to enjoy himself in the Kofi stuff, you know? All right, we have Sinnit.
Ooh.
We've Sinnit. He's happy.
We call that happy?
Yeah. He's more like fond.
Okay, I see it. I see the vision.
He's thinking about Milano. Goofball. I'm very happy with this pose, though. Like, Jesus. I gotta say, I worked hard for this pose because I don't know if everyone can see, but, like, I did the model the wrong way. So the wrong hand was up, so it would cover his face, and I didn't want it to cover his face. That's dumb. We need to see him. We need to see the boy. And so I really had to work to switch it around, and then I just really went off model with it to really get the vibe. You can see by how much effort I had to put in by the layers of sketches, right? You can see with this Senate, there's not a lot of layers of sketches, right? It has just like 2 base orange ones, and they're very similar in color. You can see the light orange and you can see the dark orange. The pink is other, you know, like background elements. You know, same with like Hotsun. You see like the light purple and then like a medium purple and then a dark purple. You know, you see it. It's just a couple layers. This Milano, he has light red and then blue and then green and then dark red on top of that. He's got another medium red in there somewhere. There's a lot of time going on. See, that's okay.
It's important. All the colors.
That's a very important thing I like to mention about sort of like using the 3D models, right, instead of it. I can find the pose without use of 3D models, right? However, it mathematically takes longer overall. So for comic purposes, it's like, why I don't have that time to spend. So we're going to use the 3D models. And now a consequence of that is sometimes the 3D models can look kind of stiff. And you got to kind of work with that and finagle it out. But the speed is beneficial overall. And then like the important ones, you know, you push your work like this and you use them as a base and you schmoove it. I will say what's very funny is that while doing this, I was very much not having a good time. But looking at it now, I'm like, ooh.
Where can you see this?
Mallow. So this,
you can read our comic on Tune. Oh, I see it now.
Oh, you see it now?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
I don't know what we're
now.
seeing. We're seeing the boy.
Seeing? The pose?
The pose? I don't know what we're seeing. But if you want to see the comic, it's mostly on Webtoon.
Continue the commercial.
Yeah.
There it is.
You're blind?
It's very good. We're not biased at all.
Not biased at all.
Oh, where's the comics? Webtoon. Also,
yes.
We should really take out that Tapas and Global Comics link. We should replace that with Tumblr.
I thought I did, but I only did it on the YouTube one apparently. So it's really only updated on YouTube now because I'm a lazy content creator. I really am. There's only so much effort in the world. Yeah, but we're working to change it in a different way.
Holding each other accountable.
In a different way, though. We're not posting more on the other platforms, unfortunately. Such is life.
We can do it if we try.
You are welcome to spearhead that, Mars. But I will say, I wish for death very quickly after sitting there and setting up all these things to do over and over again. Oh my god.
I imagine. That sounds mind-numbing.
This.
Oh, the life of a content creator.
Oh, the life of a content
creator. Please, Mallow. Please do.
Yay, thank you, Mallow.
Fun pirate boys. Okay, so here's the pitch. Hotsun is a researcher. He wants to make a name for himself in the world. So he decides to go out into the big wide world, find himself an opportunity to publish his own research. Lo and behold, he does find an island that seems to be inhabited with all kinds of wildlife and creatures never before documented. He is in paradise. Until his boat sails away without him. He didn't have any people on that boat. but it is assumed he's not
He
exactly
got
a sailor.
stranded.
He got stranded. Oopsies. Also, the island not as empty as it may seem, for it belongs to the one, the only, the devourer of the seas, Captain Milano, a fearsome pirate, but also a caller. What is a caller, you may ask? A caller is a human with animal features.
As you can see
and
here.
Each pirate is based off a different animal. Milano himself is based on the black caiman. Which leads to a very fun design. I gotta admit, I love the tail so
He's
much.
great.
And the scales.
I love him.
He's amazing.
He's my lovely boy.
So
he's my favorite boy. Don't tell anyone else.
So Hotson must find a way to get back home, but pirates and callers have been told to be dangerous. Will he open himself up and accept their help, or will he stay stuck in his ways? You have to read to find out.
Yeah. Thank you, Mallow. Mallow, you can also see
very fun characters. We got Sinet, the bamboo shark.
In the comic portion of the Discord,
the albatross.
You can see all of their wikis
the brainstorming
and designs.
Was hella fun.
So let's see if I can show this easy.
That design phase was all the way back in 2020, and Ori and I were just like coming up with ideas left and right. Like, oh, he's gonna be this kind of character. He'll have this kind of role on the ship to play, but he'll have this plot in the story. Oh, it was so much fun.
So yeah, so in the Discord,
that hasn't changed.
In the Discord here on the side, oops, everything is overlapping.
Showing the goods.
On the Discord, in the comic section, you can go to the wiki. He has feathers. Yeah, you can go to all of their. So you have the Outcast, you have the official thing, and you can go to everybody's thing, where you can see all of their And
I do my best to update the wiki when possible.
Yeah, so you can see all of their designs and stuff, all of their character sheets and everything.
Their character sheets. These are actually the updated sheets following.
So these are
Outcast anniversary.
Yeah, so these are the original character sheets, and this is the updated one that I made for Art Fight, which we very much love. They're actually paper dolls, so that's really cool. And whoops.
Yes, they wear different outfits, and we're gonna see some port outfits. I've been coloring port outfits.
No, you've been coloring boat outfits.
Oh, even more outfits.
Which is just a state of undress in their regular outfits, which is very funny.
And yet Hotson still wears his very heavy coat, even though it's hot out.
But we have all the lovely boys.
Wonder what that's all about. What could that be?
Exactly. So yeah, so we have a lot of fun. We're gonna come up on 2 years in January.
Holy shit.
It's wild.
And we got a lot to do. We gotta create a backlog.
We're in the middle of it. I'm on the second to last page of lines.
I'm getting coloring done. We're going.
We're going. Thank you, Mallow.
Thank you, Mallow.
Yeah, so it's a labor of love. We're currently in hiatus, but there's still content coming out because
there's still content coming out. If you like Ace Attorney, we have an Ace Attorney AAU currently updating.
Yes.
On the main page. You can also read their character profiles, get to know the characters a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. And then we have the Band AU.
More hiatus content coming out
on Monday. Will be a new upload.
Oh, so excited. I can't wait to post about that one. Because then I finally get to use the song Teeth in a Reel. Yay! Everett is such a bastard.
Everett is such a bastard. He's a character that hasn't come up in the official. No worries, Mallow.
AU means alternate universe. So, like, these are your cafe alternate universes, your bookstore, flower shop alternate universes. I know the biggest one going around on Archive of Our Own was the AOT universe, because apparently everyone wanted to see their favorites fight Titans for a while, which was pretty funny.
But yeah, so it's basically, so we have basically the characters, but if they were in Ace Attorney. So where Milano's the defense attorney lawyer, and Ferrix is the aide, and all these sort of stuff.
It was very fun to write an Ace Attorney style.
It's so fun.
Comic and dialogue.
And
honestly, Maya's dialogue is not that far removed from Ferrix.
No, it's not. And then the Band AU is where up there, all the callers, all the pirates, they're in a band.
Yes.
And how that would play out.
He sadly has an asshole boyfriend, but that can change. Stranger things have happened at concerts.
So yeah, it's just fun to play around. Mars also, I saw.
That's a good reason, pastry buff. I can't argue with that.
Gender, yeah, gender.
Because gender, yes.
Because gender.
You were saying, Ori?
I was saying that I drew these little sketches because I was inspired by a little piece of merch I saw come across my Instagram feed. And then Mars was like, ooh, college AU idea, brief, little thing. And I was like, well, now I got to draw that. So.
Yep, sorry, Ori. My brain won't shut up.
It's okay. That'll be 2 medic tiers from now, because the next medic tier is the one I'm calling Backstage Pass, after the one that I showed you I was drawing.
Nice. Oh, that is a flashy name. I like it.
It's Band AU themed because I've had that in my head for a while.
It's just too good.
It is just too good.
So sometimes these titles and things just gift wrap themselves for us guys.
Sometimes it really helps with the idea. I find like a lot with specifically the Leprechaun AU we do for St. Patty's Day, which is a wild thing to be wow. We have this whole thing.
We're doing it. We have a whole side story where Hoten's a leprechaun.
Yeah, it's we
put so much effort into it.
It's wild because we didn't intend it to be that way. Versus the other AUs were yes, this we want to be an AU and stuff.
Yeah,
but the Leprechaun AU was just
I was like, I'm gonna vibe and write a short poem about it because why the hell not? And then Ori's like, oh shit, this good.
Well, it was no. It started out I want to make just a little piece for St. Patty's Day because, holiday stuff gets traction, whatever, just trying to promote and things like that. And we just came out that year or something. And so it was just okay, we want to promote.
Hi.
Nicole, how you been?
Welcome.
Mallow, Nicole is the person that we were talking about. Also went to a convention recently to do artist alley booth stuff.
Table.
Yeah, table. That's the word I wanted.
There you go.
But my brain died. What was I saying?
You were talking about Leprechaun AU and how it turned out bigger than we planned.
Oh, yeah. And Mars wrote this little thing for this, literal 2-panel, it was not 2 panels. It was 3-panel comic.
It was 3.
That we just did for St. Patty's Day as a fun little, Hoten's a leprechaun and Lana's a thing. And it was all right, I drew this and I drew these designs and I was but now the brain rot has set in with this leprechaun story that I know. And yeah, okay, wow, here's the brain rot. And then Mars is oh, that's good brain rot, Ori. Here's a poem. Yeah. And it was damn shit, that's good shit, Mars. We like this. And then so the next year it was well, guess it's leprechauns.
It's leprechaun.
the mind juices are flowing. So
it's even funnier because then Leprechaun AU somehow became oops sexy.
Well, I won't explain myself.
Well, you didn't have to. I wrote a poem that ended up being oops sexy.
So. Was it so oops? I'm just saying, I don't know if it was so oops.
I think the pictures came before the poem.
Yeah,
so you're right. It wasn't oops. It was response.
And mine wasn't
sexy.
Oops either. Mine was just yes, here's brain rot about this.
Yum.
I will say, while I do a lot of oops, this was very, very calculated. Sometimes it is.
It's a rare occasion for the aces, but it does happen.
No, you have two options. You have oops,
there's a reason
or
why
this
most
is a
of my
plan.
fan fiction has people either angsting or getting concussions.
But there's either oops or this is 100% needing to be like there's no in between, right?
It's like I'm either committed to this or I whoops sexy.
Yeah. Well, like again, I was designing these extra characters, and I didn't sit down intending to make them like be specifically like, yes, these are attractive characters. I specifically made them with being diverse, having like one, challenge myself to make different body types and stuff, and ones that I don't normally draw, and two, just to there's a lot of people in the world. I ain't trying to make this world not diverse. And it was like, yeah, but there's still
you could argue that's kind of the point of a comic.
I see, Nicole. I admit when it's whoops because I want people to be known when I put effort in. I don't want it to be when there is intention. It needs to be people need to be aware. But it's like all the D&D characters, it's like, nah, I want to draw them, so they're being designed how I want them to look. And is that all hot? Yeah, apparently it is.
But it's free art, so we're not going to complain.
That's what I will say. Definitely earlier on in doing this, I was definitely a little more like, I care what they think. And then honestly, in these past day and age, it's like, nah, your idea is not anything that I desire to draw, and this is free. So I'm going to do what I want. Thankfully, Mars and Dylan are like my fucking ride or dies. So they're 99% of the time exactly on the ship that I'm already sailing. It's the other two. It's mostly Doug. But
I gotta be honest, the ship is good. It's smooth sailing. We're not hitting rocky water.
Yeah.
I am satisfied.
Like I said, Mars is a ride or die because she's like we're making our Pathfinder characters, and she's deciding.
This is how I exist. I can't do art to save my life. I can color shit, but I can't draw lines or make anything to save my life. Look at my past roll swap that Ori and I did for the Outcast anniversary to get an idea of what my drawings look like. So the fact that my characters exist in any pen to paper form capacity, like I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth.
But it's so funny
at all without.
But it's not even that, Mars, right? It's not even that. It's like it's the fact that she's building her character and she's deciding on what heritage, what ancestry to play. And she's like, oh, I come across in D&D, it's the Knoll. In Pathfinder, it's the Colo. And it's a hyena person. It's an anthropomorphic hyena. It's an anthropomorphic hyena. But like full, like furry style, right? Like the head is hyena head and all this sort of stuff. And Mars is like, I like this, but can I colorify it? And I'm like, fuck yeah, Mars, who cares what the DM says? I'm calling, you said the magic fucking words, because I gotta tell you, I don't want to draw the animal heads. I'm colorifying my character because I'm a Tengu.
Don't want a snout.
Right? And it's not that snouts are bad. They're cute.
Are fun.
They're cute. I admire other people drawing them, but it's not my personal preference.
Like, I gotta be honest, I want human but cooler.
Right?
That's just what I want.
This is why we're best friends, Mars. Like,
I want human but cool.
This is why we're here. Dylan's not as ride or die with that. He still likes dwarves and stuff. And I'm just like, they're a little lame. Not gonna lie.
How dare.
But I'll still draw him a dwarf. It'll just be a hot dwarf and not, it's just how I live it. I don't think we've had a dwarf character yet. I've drawn dwarves as like commission things, but I don't think I've drawn a dwarf for us yet. Oh, and so guys, so my Pathfinder character is a big nerd about haunts and curses and stuff. That's like his whole thing. So he looks like a big nerd. He's kind of scrawny looking and everything, and he has this big ass curse sword. However, he deals like the most damage sustained of the entire party. And specifically, I built him and, you know, designed him with the idea of it being like, this kid can't, like, you know, fend for themselves, like they're weak, they're scrawny, and then him like fucking wrecking, which he did do. And basically both Mars and our other table mate were like, oh, we didn't expect you to be the damage dealer. And I was like, yeah, this is exactly the reaction that I wanted. Thank you, completes. Roll credits. Right, what was that? They said the title and roll credits.
Oh, actually.
Yeah. So I'm very excited to get to draw him because it's definitely gonna be big nerd. But yeah, literally colorified big nerd. Because he's like a magpie. But he's specifically like a colorful magpie.
Your character with that, like.
Oh yeah.
You nailed the obsession bit.
Oh, I'm so glad.
I told her to watch Apothecary Diaries for inspiration if she needed it. She didn't even need that. She didn't need Mau Mau inspiration. She was set to go.
I know what the obsession is. But yeah.
We experience it every day.
Very fun. But so, very much enjoying my character. A little sad about my roles, but you know, such is life. What manga?
Yeah, Mon. You read the manga or you read the manga?
Oh, of the Apothecary Diaries?
Oh.
Colorful Magpie Yatagarasu. I don't think
good things about it.
The Yatagarasu, he's usually like, well, I guess they are usually like the blacks and blues. I'm talking like, forget exactly. I have to go by the magpie species. I have to go by the scientific name because my character is named after the species name. There it is. This one. He's based off the Taiwan blue magpie. So he's not as colorful. There's like a bunch of green magpies. But he's not just like black and white as a lot of like magpies are.
No, Mon. Pinned.
Ooh.
I'm so sorry.
This is just a wild image to open up. But look at that. This is what my character will be based off.
That's a vibe, Pastry Puff. That's a huge vibe. Yeah, we really do have the animals in this one. We got a bird, we got a kitsune, we got a hyena.
Yeah, but the kitsune is a full animal anthro, not a cool collar. Yeah, so this is the bird that my boy's based off.
But human.
It could have been a collar fox. It would have been cool. That's what I want.
Ooh, okay, Amon, I feel you with scheduling. I guys, you saw in the Discord earlier today. They looked at my schedule and were like, "Ooh, you have a break. Don't worry, we can fix that." And they did indeed fix that.
That's so wild to me. Are you working more than 8 hours now?
So I tally up, and no, I'm still within. But sometimes it's just nice because guys, I gotta say, when you're working with kids, stuff goes well, and some days stuff doesn't go well. And you know, you take that moment to reset, recoup, maybe get a different activity to remediate anything that could happen later on. Like, you bounce back, but you need the time to bounce back.
No pastry puff.
It's easier to do in an hour than it is 10 minutes.
They 100% can be collar-like. I'm just saying that the player does not desire that. He is a full fox-headed girly. And I'm upset about it because I remember struggling so hard with Dylan's fox anthro character.
Oof. And now you gotta do another one and find a way to differentiate it from the other.
They have very different patterns, and I think this one's going to be rounder in face shape in general. And I will say, I'm constantly on the pretty human eyes because that gives just a lot of expression. I think my biggest
the same thing for the movie Spirit, so
I think my biggest hang up with drawing full-on anthro-furries is that I can't will my personal self to dogify everything. Right? The furry style is very much dogifying everything, and I don't dislike that visually. Like, I look at furry art, I enjoy furry art. But in, like, my personal drawing, it's like, no. Or you're a biologist, you can do better, right? You can make these animals feel like feel like the animal that they are. And that's, like, always, screws you up with, like, sharks, right? Sharks are very dogified in, furry spaces, which again, I think they look good and I like them, but Ori's freaking, like I said, queer audacity out here is very like, no, you can make it full shark and still look good. And it's like, but
the artist in Ori is crying and begging for release.
It's just like, but can you? And it's like, I don't know. And then I struggle. All right, there it is. I did it. This entry's done. That's not what I want. No. Okay. That is what I wanted. Woo! All the lines are done.
We did it.
Just on time, indeed. Yeah. Perfect. Yes, and that means I have time to, after stream, go and put in 3D models so I might be able to sketch tomorrow during my audit. So I hope so. But
sing.
Ooh, very nice, Amon.
Ooh.
But all right.
You gotta let us know how that goes.
Thank you all for coming. Let me end screen. Yes. If you guys want, hold on. If you guys want your little T-Pet character
to
to some structured
discussions.
Yeah.
Let us know if you like that.
If you have any suggestions, let us know. But yeah, if you want your little T-Pet character to sit on stream with us on every single stream, even the Ace Attorney ones, join our Angsty Adversary membership tier with our lovely current members of Parry His Parry, Dichotomy Games, and Nicole. So you can have your little T-Pets. If you want our Ace Attorney videos early, as soon as they're posted, there are literally 6 right now, technically 5 backlogged, but 6. Nice. Become a psychic sidekick or become a doofus detective like Lakitu, Aragorn, Canadian Lucifer, Tay, and Jester. If you just want the emojis innately in the YouTube, you can get them for free, but you do have to download the Better Twitch TV extension for your browser, which really works with every browser. But if you want them to just be innately with YouTube, join the Doofus Detective lowest tier there. It really helps us out, but we're also just happy to have you all here with us, guys. You make stream, worth it, fun, enjoyable.
Spend your time with us.
Yes, thanks for hanging out, chatting.
Really appreciate it.
We love seeing you. If there is a VOD watcher out there, we appreciate you too. Yes. Give the stream a like if you do like it.
All of you.
I never say that, but do it.
Yes,
won't
please. But it
if
helps
you're on
us a
YouTube.
ton.
It does help,
And we
actually.
appreciate it greatly.
So very much so.
You
And
guys
yeah,
are awesome.
we'll see you all Thursday for talking about bird and reptile anatomy, where we'll be drawing the birds that inspired Outcast characters and reptiles that inspired Outcast characters, and probably the bird that inspires my my Pathfinder character that you just saw, the Taiwan blue magpie. So thank you all. We'll see you Thursday. Have a lovely hump day. Good night.
Enjoy, you guys. We'll see you on Thursday.